It's not a complaint, but this is the reality, that when you play Thursday and you have a long travel to get back home, and you play Sunday on the morning, always is an advantage for the opponent, in this case Chelsea, and have 3 days for prepare the game against us, and only we have 1 day for prepare the game against Chelsea, and this is a clear advantage for the opponent, but we need to accept the rules on the game, but I need to say which is the reality for us.
Spurs will be without the suspended Dele Alli for the clash, as the midfielder picked up his 5th booking of the season during the 4-1 victory over West Ham last weekend. Eric Lamela will again miss out with a groin injury, whilst Nabil Bentaleb, Nasser Chadli and Alex Pritchard all remain sidelined with ankle problems. Chelsea will be looking to secure back-to-back league victories for the first time this season, following their 1-0 success against Norwich last weekend. The reigning Premier League champions are currently 15th in the standings, and they are a full 10 points behind Spurs heading into Sunday's match. The Blues have only won 1 of their last 9 visits to White Hart Lane in the league, and their only top-flight success on their travels this season came against West Brom in August. Boss Jose Mourinho knows his side must start winning games on a regular basis, and he wants to approach each match as if they are challenging for the league title.
I prefer to say that we have to play every match as we are fighting for the title. I prefer to go in that direction, but the reality is that we need points the same way we needed last season when we were top of the table and almost champion and fighting to be champion. In this moment we are far from even the European positions, and we have to play every game with ambition, with determination, because every point in the end of the season can make a difference. We lost so many points already that now we have to fight for every point even more.
Captain John Terry is a doubt for Sunday's match after picking up an ankle injury during the midweek victory over Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Champions League, but Mourinho is hopeful the defender will be fit. Midfielder Ramirez is also a doubt with a muscular injury, but Cesc Fabregas has been past fit to play despite struggling with a toe problem.
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Here we go, everyone. It's Sunday night. How you doing? What a show we have for you tonight. Where else can you get this? Where else can you get this type of show? You're not getting this show on TV, are you? People that care on the show tonight. This informal, lovely, beautiful setting. This is where we are. We are doing it. It's the Andy Penders Show. We are the hottest ticket in Southeast Asia right now. On tonight's show, I ask a very simple question. Is it time to end the S.League? Hey, what have the following got in common? Pulp Fiction, Tropic Thunder, Lord of Rings, X-Men The Last Stand, The Departed and Red Dragon all have stellar casts, but none of them touch the stellar cast that we have on tonight's show. Former Singapore international, I say Singapore legend, he doesn't like it, R Sasikumar on the show. The best football commentator in the business, Dez Corkhill.
You just did.
On the show.
I think he enjoyed that.
Lions 12 fan Hazril A. Jamari, the best name in the world, on the show. Former goalkeeper Amos Boon on the show. Former Geylang midfielder PJ Roberts, Zai Tia Mu Shang. Former Home United goalkeeper Sharul. Say former? Is he former? Technically former goalkeeper Sharul Jantan on the show. Former Singapore international John Wilkinson on the show. Football blogger Steve McBain on the show. Exclusive Lions 12 spokesperson Norman Abdul Rahmat on the show. Reuters football correspondent Patrick Johnson on the show. Lions 12 fan Tan Hwee Heng is also on the show. Tottenham, Newcastle and Liverpool fans Alan Bentley gave you the best tip ever yesterday. Hope you followed it. He's on the show. Spanish football expert Antonio Codnach on the show. All the reaction to yesterday's action in the Malaysia Cup, Barclays Premier League, European football. What a show we have for you today then. Let's get stuck into it. Where can you get a former Singapore international, a Singapore fan, and the football commentator on one show. Where can you? You can do it right here. Hazrul, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm awesome. Today's my birthday.
No!
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Is this the best birthday present ever? You're next to
Absolutely.
Sasikumar. You're next to Dez Corkhill. Did you get that? Let's get stuck into the
The
game.
most important thing,
Yeah?
I'm next to you, yeah?
Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm just moderating here today. Let's talk about Singapore football. Let's talk about Lions 12 football. Reaction to the game first up. Were you at the game, Hazrul?
Yeah, I was at the game last night.
Spectacular, right?
Awesome game. I think the boys were fired up last night because, they got news of the ejection from the Malaysian Super League, and then I think that fired them up. They want to prove critics wrong, and 2 goals were just a little too...
Just fell a bit short. Sassy, how you been? Been busy, boy?
Yeah, really good.
Where have you been?
Really good. Been all around, I think. I was in India. I'm here till Wednesday. Then I'm off to Japan and China and Vietnam. So got a bit of work to do before the year ends.
Busiest man on the planet.
Well, I tried to. Have to pay the bills here.
Yeah, bro. Dez Corkhill, also on the show. I enjoyed your commentary last night, Des.
I enjoyed the match thoroughly. It was very emotional. It was a terrific ending, terrific effort by Lions 12, but very sad as well. I also did the RHB Singapore Cup final and bronze medal matches on Friday, so the voice is going a little bit because both were very emotion-packed.
Norman is on the phone. Singapore exclusive Lions 12 spokesperson, Norman. Hi, Norman.
Hi, good evening.
How you doing, buddy? How was last night? You enjoy it?
Yes, I did. Definitely I did. I feel proud, actually.
Okay, so what's going to happen to your supporters group now that you don't have a club to support, possibly?
The supporters group still remains. We have other plans as well. And if according to plan, like we expected, maybe if the Lions itself were to be playing in the S.League, then we will add colours to the S.League.
What's the word on the street, Des? What's going to happen?
I've given up predicting, but word on the street is that it's not likely to be too much of a change. There will be a Lions team in the S-League and probably playing in the ASEAN Super League as well. That's the current word on the street. It might have changed in the last 20 seconds because really nobody knows. Everyone's keeping everything under their
hat, maybe?
Under their hat, yes.
Yeah. So Norman, are you upset with the decision that the FAM made, or what?
I'm truly disappointed by the FAM's decision to to discontinue the MOU decision, because in the way that they made the decision is truly unprofessional. It's like it happens like not as official as we expect it to be. Yeah, it's kind of a sudden decision, and it makes us we are caught in no man's land, something like that. So it does make our morale a bit, not really good.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But then you might be playing in the S-League next season, so at least you've still got the team to support, right?
Yes, definitely we do.
Okay.
We will still be there, maybe for the national team or for any other teams who represent the nation in whatsoever.
Okay.
But I believe the Lions stuff will still be around. They will not be disbanded. And if it's according to plan, I believe they could just ply their trade in the S-League, and come 2017, that will be the start of the ASEAN Super League. If it's confirmed, then that'll be a new experience for us altogether.
Can I ask a question to Norman? Norman, the fans, the group that you've got, where do they all come from? Are they all over the island, or are they from one particular area? Where do your fans base themselves?
Okay, they come from all parts of the island, I believe so. Because when we first started in 2012, we started as friends, just a bunch of friends, football buddies, go to the stadium together to watch a game. We started with 6 of us. And then when we started to initiate this group, in which through social media, the interest was really incredible. I can just see that. And
Norman, what was that? Did you enjoy the game last night? Was it a good atmosphere?
It was one of the best atmospheres.
Yeah, brilliant. And what a way to bow out as well. Thanks, Norman, for coming on. I really appreciate you.
That's what Fundy promised us. We got with the Big Bang, and this is what we did.
Got it all. Hey, thanks, buddy. Right at the top of the show, Sassy, that we've billed it as, is it time for the S-League to stop? Right? That's how we've built it, because we had plenty of people on yesterday. Ash Hashim, such a passion. I mean, I can give her a few tips on how to present on TV, fair enough, but you can't match her when it comes to passion about local sport. She says the players should go overseas. Gary Coe said the FAS now needs to make football a viable career option for young men. Callis Riffan, the Vox editor, said FAS have done well ensuring that the players have the contracts. Zico, 442 editor, said that he was surprised the FAS didn't have a contingency plan. Patrick Johnson came up and said, disband the S-League, get the team to play in the A-League for next season. Where are we at, Sass? Where are we?
Well, that's a good question. If you ask me a straightforward question, should the S-League exist, or it should be there? The simple answer is yes. Why? I think if you look anywhere in the world, the domestic competition of any country in the world is the base where the national players are picked. That's where the pinnacle of football is in any country. So there's a clear pathway for any youngster coming into the game in a certain country. They look at playing at the highest level possible. For a while, we've been missing that. The S-League has taken a back seat. And unfortunately or fortunately, the Lions 12 and the Malaysian Super League has taken forefront. For many reasons. Let's not forget that I made a living out of the S-League. I'm very passionate about the S-League. I'm very passionate about the local football. We as a company contribute a lot to youth football here. So to say that we should cull the S-League and now think about playing in the A-League, which is to me a very abstract idea, because I don't think so the Australians will allow that to start with. They didn't want our best player.
The New Zealanders.
That's a very unique situation where
that's coming to an end as well.
That is also coming to an end, because in a professional setting, and especially with the new AFC rules, where you can't have professional foreign teams in your league in order for you to qualify for the Asian Champions League and the other competitions, you will see less and less foreign teams playing in different competitions. I really think even New Zealand, it's a big country. New Zealand is, of course, there are more sheep than people there, but
Sure.
we've toured many times. When I was with the national team, a couple of occasions, we toured there. We played against very physically strong teams. So there is a possibility of even New Zealand starting early. It's very interesting. Last Friday, I met someone from Europe who's in the business as well. He was saying that he was helping the Northern Ireland set up the professional league. I mean, they have a professional league. He was helping them sell TV rights and stuff. So even the smallest of nations around the world are now trying to get their football act together, put a professional system in place.
Okay, what about Iceland?
Yeah, what about Iceland?
Well, they qualified for Euro 2016. They haven't got a big domestic league.
They've got a professional league. They play professionally, and players are played. And the element that I want to bring into this is that the S-League, the reason the Lions 12 succeeded is because it appealed to people like Norman and his fans, because it represented something to them. S-League clubs, in many ways, with the loss of Sembawang, the loss of Jurong, the loss of Tanjong Pagar, in and out, the loss of Gombak, stopped representing communities. There wasn't a reason, there wasn't anywhere for Norman and his friends to go. You've got to have a reason. Football fundamentally is about the fans, fundamentally, and then you've got to actually make it a business.
Yeah, but let me just also reiterate the fact that there are two types of fans in Singapore. Very clearly, there's ones that are very passionate about football, local football, whichever it is, the Lions 12, the S-League, whatever. Then they got the fans who jump on the bandwagon.
Yes.
The fans that just like winners. The simple fact is, weeks ago we saw the Premier League Masters come out here and play.
Yeah.
I'll put my head on the line to say, if they could pass 10 passes together, that would have been a success that night. But 27,000 people went to the stadium. What does that mean? That simply means they're hero worshippers. They're hero worshippers. Doesn't matter how big their waists are, how fat they are. It doesn't matter. It's names. It's names that drive people to the stadium. So there's something to learn here for local football. All we need to do is to ensure that the pulling power has to be there. That has been lacking for the longest time. I'll tell you, I played in stadiums where it was full, S-League games, full. And up till 1999, when we were at Home United, the queue, you cannot imagine the number of people trying to get into the Bishan Stadium. We played the greatest football. There was 22 games in the season. We went 21 games unbeaten. We had a cult-like following at the Bishan Stadium. Not just us, the Warriors then, who we haven't lost a game, but they were just at the back of us. They were just, they were trailing behind us. They had huge crowds. So to tell me that the S-League cannot attract fans to the stadium, I don't buy that. The problem now is we need to make it a very attractive proposition. Why? The consumers have different options. After all, they are paying fans. You don't expect them to be loyal. Loyalty doesn't buy you anything, but what it does buy is, these sort of things where people can become hero worshippers. We need heroes. The country seriously lacks heroes, especially in football. I think I really believe that when you look at the very ordinary players.
Heroes, yes, you can develop locals, and I will argue the Lions 12 develop local heroes like Izwan, like Safwan, but heroes cost money. To bring in foreign talent costs serious money, and that money doesn't exist. There's got to be a much firmer base than that, and I go back to the communities and the fans needing to be based in a community as being the starting point of an S.league.
Can I just bring in Tan Hwee Heng? Hi Tan. Hi Hwee Heng.
Hi.
Hi,
how are you?
Yeah, good to have you on the show. The only
Great,
Singapore supporter in Japan, by the way. On
All
the
right.
line.
Yeah, yes,
Awesome.
that's right.
Awesome. What can we do to improve local football, please, Hwee Heng?
Well, definitely we need to build out our S.league base again and rediscover what Sasi has been saying, where people are queuing out to go into the stadium. And what happened is that Singaporeans are too addicted to watching football on TV, and they need to rediscover the experience of bringing their family down, their friends, and then after that watching it live and feeling the atmosphere with people, screaming and shouting together, and also to bring our fans to the next level where we actually sing together in one stadium the same song, and that cannot be replicated in front of the TV.
So
it's ridiculous to be singing to yourself on the TV.
Singapore consumer that needs a different mindset. Is that what you're saying?
There's another element here. Again, I'd like to bring up. Have you been to Bedok Stadium? Have you tried to watch a game at Bedok Stadium? It is a dog of a place.
Yeah, but having said that, Des, in the past when Geylang used to be highly successful, you couldn't find a seat at the stadium. So
that's 15 years ago, Sassy. It's a whole new breed of consumers. You need to be able to see the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can make some cosmetic changes to a stadium. You can bring the crowd closer to the stadium. There are new technologies, seating technologies that are available in the market. That you can. He's touched a very, very important point. The word there, the buzzword is experience. It's an experience-based economy. You need to create the right experience. It's simple as that. When I was involved with the French club that was here, the first thing I said, we were at the Queenstown Stadium, I said, get the toilets clean. It's a simple fact, but you got to get the toilets clean, because if the toilets are dirty, the ladies are not going to go. And if the ladies are not going to go, and what happens is that the boyfriends can't take the girlfriends to the stadium. So it's a small fact, but it goes a long way. But if you look at the S-League stadiums, and I think it's experience, it's really missing. We can talk about seating, we can talk about the stadium, we talk about the players and everything. Again, like I said, if I'm going to spend $10, I want to have the best experience. It is what we need to get to.
We can also need to talk about how the clubs make money, because they don't own these stadia. They can't make money out of the stadia. So how do the clubs become a viable going concern without income coming through the dollars? And we're saying we've got to improve the experience, and we've got to get star names in. This is serious dollars going out the door.
No, let's go back. It's all relative, but let's go back to the time where we signed Amir Reza Estili, Muhammad Kakpour, even at the time when I was playing at Home United, Ernie Tapai, ex-Socceroo, Bozinowski, Zobbox, all these. It's relative, because if you go backwards, and in 1999, the money they were getting is big money for Singapore. But we still managed to bring these boys here. PJ Roberts keeps talking about this. He said when he was playing in Malaysia, Singapore was the place to go. Every foreign player in the region wanted to play in Singapore. There was a reason behind that. And I think in a country like this, if we create the right platform, if we drive the right engagement, the sponsors will come. I'm in this business. We know it's about creating value. It's about giving the bang for the buck for the sponsor. If we don't do that, you will never get the stadium right. You will not be able to improve the stadiums and stuff like that. It's a vicious circle, Des. That's what I'm saying. It is. We need to now reboot. That's what the word is. And experience. It has to be centered around an experience.
Hwee Heng, you agree with Sassy, presumably?
Yeah, I mean, I went to Saitama to watch the Japan game. Then at the same time, I visited a J2 club. J2 club is called Jeff United. Yeah. The moment I exit the MRT station, the whole floor, the escalator is all decorated with Jeff United colors. and the pathway all the way to the stadium is just United colours. It becomes like, you imagine if Tampines Rovers, when you drive into Tampines town, and then you see Tampines Rovers flyers and the posters, you go and take the MRT in Tampines Rovers, Tampines MRT and Pasir Ris MRT, and you see Tampines Rovers colours, and that's where you will sense, and that's where you also give the buck to the sponsors, because really we need exposure for the sponsors for the big money to come in. And for the stadium, if we are playing the like Bedok Stadium, which is built in 1970s, which sponsor will actually want to be associated with a 1970s stadium? It's ridiculous. I mean, and then the track, the field, the lighting,
100%.
It's really it's really a $3 experience.
Well, Hazrel's in the studio. He's a Lions. He's a PAHANG supporter.
Indeed.
What would part of your money next season?
Oh, to be frank.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, no, I'm just talking to Hazrel's in the studio with us. I just put a question to him. What would make you spend your money next season?
Well, to be frank, I think the attraction of seeing senior national players pitting their stuff against the S.league boys and their foreign players would be a plus point. But I think the rivalry is not there, to be frank. Lions Store versus the S.league, right? So I'm not sure whether the majority of the fans will come to the stadiums. I'm not sure. Maybe the guys at Exclusive probably they'll be coming down. Some of the other diehard fans probably will be coming down. But we can see in the Court Channel Lions where probably the sister club of the Lions Store, you don't see many fans.
Well,
there.
I got a question for you. Who do you support? Do you support any English Premier League teams and any team?
Yeah, I support Liverpool.
Okay, if you support Liverpool, let's just say, just arbitrarily, Tampines Rovers signs Steven Gerrard next season. Will you be at the stadium?
Probably.
There you go. That's the answer.
Right. But Tampines play in Geelong, and this is a fundamental problem. Tampines don't play in Tampines, haven't done for 2 years.
Yeah,
and this is a real problem.
That's a logistical problem.
It's not a logistic. It's a basic issue.
So where can you then place Tampines if the stadium is under repair?
You can play in Bedok. It's 2 minutes down the road. It's 2 stops down the road.
That's Geylang playing there.
No, why? Is that
why do Geylang play in Bedok? Geylang should be playing in Geylang.
There's no stadium in Geylang.
You can create stadium. You can. This is the whole point. In other areas,
Selangor and Florida play at the same stadium, right? Isn't that wrong?
Sorry,
Selangor and PKNS.
PKNS, you can share stadia. Right? Indeed.
No, I think the problem is I hear you guys. You got valid points, but let's not forget. Sometimes it's not about addressing the problem. There are issues there. We have to skip around. We need to work around. You see, you can't live in an ideal world. The ideal world is everybody has their own stadium that they own and stuff like that. A reality in Singapore, you can't do that.
So how do they make money? How do they possibly make money?
Yeah, they have to make money from the stadium itself. They really have to, and the sports council have to be more aggressive and more visionary to actually allocate the land, and then let them build a building that is as big as Safra, and then plus the stadium,
exactly.
And then let the club run it. And then what you have to ask, you flip the coin over the other side, and you ask the sponsors, would that be something that you would like to own? And I'll tell you, any listed company with a very good price asset of a clubhouse that is the size of a Safra plus a stadium, and then you can bring your corporate clients there to have a total experience. And then the fans, when they walk in, they feel that this is my community.
Correct.
And that's where suddenly, you have 10 different... Don't forget, Singapore is going to be 10 million population in 10, 15 years' time. And that is something that, each town will be very sizable. And you have the DBS, Tampines community building where you have restaurants, you have gyms and all this, and they generate a lot of revenue. And then the team salary will be actually a small part of it. And that's where they can afford to have Steven Gerrard come down and play for us. So you see, the business concept must be more aggressive and more visionary than renting a small stadium like Bedok Stadium, and they're going to pay 1 million next year, I heard, for that Bedok Stadium use.
Is that right?
My goodness.
Okay, I think what you're saying, it's all valid. I think, in ideal world, that's what we want. touching on the stadiums at the moment, it's not a low-hanging fruit because that's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be a work in progress. There needs to be serious engagement with the government, which is going to take time. What I'm saying is that meanwhile, while these talks and these negotiations and this justification of stadium building specifically for football, while this happens, which takes time, what happens to football? Do we then just say, let's wait till we get the stadium to reboot the S-League? Or do we make use of the resource that's available now and see what best we can do? Let me just tell you something. I think our biggest weakness is our biggest strength. And I keep saying this. As Singapore as a country, we are small. That's our weakness. The biggest strength is every player in the world wants to live in Singapore. Singapore is like the Monaco of the East. If you tell Steven Gerrard you're going to have a lifestyle in Singapore, if you tell Paul Scholes he's going to have a lifestyle in Singapore, or Didier Drogba, they'll pack their bags and come here tomorrow because that is our biggest strength.
Does the FAS share that vision, Sassy?
You know, on many occasions I've engaged the FAS and presented many ideas and they see it. They see it. I would say that they see it and slowly it's a matter of belief. Priorities may vary at different points in times, and that's why things have not moved. But surely, and right now, when you look at the priority is the S-League. There's no running away from it now. Perhaps in the past with the Lions 12, with their success, it was easy to say maybe the time is not now. We need to take pain points away from creating and rebooting the new league. Now it's not about pain points. It's about hurting. It's killing.
Are clubs coming to you looking for some advice or some consultancy work?
Yeah, I mean, yes and a no. We're looking at actually. I'm already started working with Tampines Rovers. One of the things that we talked about and Des touched about it's building the community. What really means building the community? Is it just meaning that I'm just going to go around and hand out flyers and potato chips? I think that's what John Wilkinson did when Tampines Tanjong Pagar. Is that grassroots? I really think grassroots. It's about having your father, your grandfather, your brother, your husband, being community coaches at the club where you belong. It's about having 40 schools in that Tampines area, so to speak, who are all wearing Tampines Rovers colours in their school competition. That is true community work. And it's not about just saying, let's go and hand out flyers and the players going. No, every player in the club, every first team player has to be a mentor for a school team. I think that's when you truly engage the community. I think this is the only way that you're going to become a part of people's life.
Does the Singapore community care? Does anyone care about the S-League? Is it there? No one cares, mate. No one cares.
Yeah, the problem is we nobody cares because we have not tried it. When you say nobody cares, is it a handful of people that don't care? Is it the entire country that doesn't care? Have we done a survey? The exclusive singer or whoever the fan club are, maybe they might care about the Lions 12, but there might be a bit larger community that cares about the S-League. We really don't know. We are shooting in the dark at the moment, guessing. And hoping and praying and just shooting in the dark and thinking, this is what's needed for the S-League or football. No one has done a concerted effort, a study to say where should football go. And let's ask the people who matter most.
Despite no studies and whatsoever, I've seen local media asking fans off the street whether they know, and then this was happening in Junction 8, I think, last year, asking whether they know what club plays in Bishan. Not a single one.
No one knew.
Well,
that seems to be marketing. Joining us on the line, Reuters football correspondent Patrick Johnson. Hi, Patrick.
Hello, Andy. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I was reading Godfrey Robert in the new paper today. He said this is how you sort it out. Spice up the S-League with Lions 12 players, bring in better foreign talent players, better foreign clubs to the domestic league, and work to get a better mix of nationalities in our club teams, and then go for the ASEAN Super League. How would you sort out domestic football in Singapore?
That's fine, but who's going to pay for that?
Absolutely. Who pays for it?
I mean, I think this is the point. I mean, I know my idea about sticking the Lions in the A-League is getting a bit trashed there, but I mean, it was just as an idea. I mean, talking about Singapore football in general, I mean, that idea comes from the fact that I think that the FAS's job is to try and put something together that gets the best national team possible. Other people might have the idea that they want a good national team and a good domestic league product. I'm just looking at it, I'm just thinking that the best way forward to have a really good Singapore team that can constantly qualify for Asian Cups and can threaten qualifying for a World Cup, I think that might be an idea. But it all comes down to money. I mean, my issue with the FAS at the moment is that Ian DeCotta wrote a great piece for Today, I think it was a couple of months ago, about the last 5-10 year plan that the FAS had, and it just failed. Nothing worked. Since then, there's been election delays. They've been caught out by the Lions being kicked out of Malaysia, and it just seems to be complete lack of management going on there. And then, like, I don't know who just said it just there, but who is doing this study, coming up with these ideas? I've read lots of people saying, yeah, let's invest, let's do this, let's keep this league alive, and I'm all for it if there's a good idea. But if there's no punter there willing to pay for it, and there's no sponsor willing to put up the money, then we have to look at alternatives now.
Sasi?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think the point there, but let's not forget, we are a country probably with the highest concentration of millionaires in the world. Right? I think we need to give people a reason to dip into their pockets to say, I want to own a football club. If you go 5 to 10 years back in Thailand, it wasn't sexy to own a football club. Today, every man worth his salt in Thailand wants to own a football club because there's a bigger agenda, whether it be political or business. I think that's what we need to create. We need to create a reason for the likes of Peter Lim, who spent 500 million euros owning a football club. Only God knows where that he's going to go with that. But with that money, he could have owned the entire league for another 10 years. So there must be a reason to ensure that ownership of football is sexy. Ultimately, I agree with you.
Is it a business reason?
Yeah, that must be a business reason. I think nobody, if I tell you today, from a business perspective, if every club in the world is loss-making, right?
Yes.
Every club in the world is a loss-making. But there's a reason behind that. But in my opinion, being a football club owner is much more than a business factor. It's a lot. Those guys who own football clubs have various reasons why they own football clubs. So there are people with money, there's liquidity in the market to go out there and make the league a better product. What I'm saying is that this is a place to do it. There's a lot of money here. It's about getting the right product. If you don't put the right product in front of the right people, no one's going to buy. If you're asking the guy who wants to buy a Bentley and put a Toyota in front of him, there's no chance. No disrespect to Toyota, they are our client, but he's not going to buy it. He's not going to buy it. So what we are saying is, maybe let's not build a Bentley. Why don't we build a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz? And hopefully one day we'll get to a Bentley. But we need to do something. It needs to be a concerted effort. I think the problem is now people have gone on a witch hunt on who's not done the job. It's too late for that. We find ourselves with our back against the wall. Is it right now is to put people in the firing line and say he hasn't done that, the management is this? No, it's too late for that. What are we going to get from that?
Listen, the concerted effort needs to be community-based stuff. There's got to be something which is worthwhile investing in for these guys, whether it's business or whether it's a case of being upfront in the community. From those solid bases, you have a solid team, then a national team comes. This building a national team and trying to work downwards has always been crazy to me. There's got to be something reasonable, solid, something worthwhile investing in, and that's the community element that I keep going on about. Regional, the local authorities need to be investing in better facilities. They're building all of these athletics tracks. How many athletics events are taking place in Singapore? Nobody goes to an athletics track. How many enclosed venues have got? We've got made for beautiful hockey stadia in Sengkang. Hockey is a once every 2 years big event. It's used as a social recreation place. It's a wonderful facility. If they can do that for hockey, why can we not do it for football in every single region? Make it more sexy. Make it, as who was saying before, about making a place to go for the community. Get your kids out in the schools, and then you will attract the sponsors. But it needs somebody to put in the money, and that's not the FAS's job. The FAS don't have that kind of money. That needs to be a bigger government play.
Patrick?
But yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, just to follow on Dez's point there, that, playing numbers are actually down in schools, I was reading, in Singapore. Like, kids aren't playing football like they used to. This is part of a really much bigger kind of, we're all sitting here talking passionately about, what we think should happen, but these kids are just turning away. This is obviously what they're looking at and just thinking, well, no, I don't want to be a part of it. If there was a thriving league, or if there was an avenue to become a successful Singaporean international and you could go and compete in these bigger tournaments, then maybe they'll come back and play. But obviously that's just not happening at the moment. So
it's just not sexy to be a professional footballer in Singapore.
No. I mean, when you look at a lot of players, I mean, I take my son to Saturday football, and I look at those kids there. I don't know who they look up to as heroes. When I was growing up, I had a lot of heroes. The guys playing in the national team, Terry Pamanathan, Sundram Fandi, for the matter. You know, the list goes on. These guys were our idol. We used to jump on a train, go to the national stadium and watch these guys, and someday wish that we could wear the national team jersey.
But that was a time when, you know, we were in the Malaysia Cup. We didn't have our own local league.
No, because of course not. Because we had a local league, but the league was semi-professional.
Yes.
So that was a feeder. The Malaysia Cup didn't exist by itself. There were 10 other clubs. There was the underbelly, which was the what we call the semi-professional league. That's where the players came from. That's where the players. It wasn't that the Malaysia Cup existed on its own. The players didn't drop from the sky. They came from somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. It's that it was the Tiong Bahru, the Geylang Internationals, and the South Avenues. Those are the teams that created the players right up to the national team. And these were the players that we watched. Today, I'll be very surprised if they knew any other national players, especially at the grassroots level. Who is the hero? I mean, until today, we've got to hang on to Fandi Ahmad as our favourite football star. We have not evolved. Not that Fandi is not a great guy or Sundan is not a great guy, or they earn their stripes, but we need the new ones. Safwan?
I'll argue Safwan, I'll argue Hassan, I'll argue these have achieved not quite as much as Fandi, but I'll argue that they are on the way to achieving that, and their avenue to do that was the Lions 12, because that was a focal point.
Exactly.
No, it was a good thing. It's gone for whatever reason, so now you've somehow got to create the opportunity for fans to want to go to stadia. They want to go to the Lions 12.
I followed Safwan when he went to Melbourne City. I followed him when he went to Melbourne City because he wasn't playing in a kampong league. He wasn't playing in a village league.
I think that's really unfair on the
No, I'm telling you.
Really unfair.
So because he went to the he went to
really
Melbourne
unfair.
City, I think I followed him because
it's not a kampong league.
Come on,
It's not.
First of all, let's be serious. Let's be serious. Let's be serious here. We are talking about achieving heights. We're not talking about being heroes in our own village. I worked on the Malaysian Super League. I have a lot of respect for the Malaysian Super League. What I'm saying is the S-League much better than it, or is it much better than the S-League? I'm talking about not being a big fish in a small pond.
But you've got to start.
So he started. He went to Melbourne City,
and he came back. Yeah.
Okay.
But Hassan's gone. Hassan's gone.
That's what I'm saying.
But to you, it's in the kampong league, isn't it?
What is the kampong league?
I don't know. That's what you said. You know, Hassan is playing in the kampong league, isn't he?
No, that he's playing in the Thai Premier League.
Sorry, not Hassan.
Harris.
Harris.
I'm not talking about Harris. I talk specifically about Safwan.
Right.
I'm talking specifically about Izwan, who could be going to Chonburi. Hassan's done really well in the Thai Premier League because from there, because the club that he plays for has affiliation to the English Premier League clubs and stuff like that, there's a different ownership there, he could actually make the step up. Now we are talking serious. Now we are talking about competing with Japan. I just want to say, I was working on the Japan game. The guy who scored the first goal, right? He had to maneuver his body and hit the ball. Let's freeze that frame there and rewind back where he started. Let's rewind and let's just see the journey where he went through to score that goal. It didn't happen overnight. He played in structured competitions. They improved. The Japanese had a big thing about sending the players away. As soon as they were of age and they were decent standard, they all played away. And the good players stayed abroad, and the ones who didn't make it come back and made the league stronger. What I'm saying is, it is great. Our players have it in them to go and play in a bigger league.
But we haven't got the strong league yet. We haven't got the base to send the guys away. That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem. It's a competitive league, but it's not a strong league.
Patrick, do you want to have a final word? I know you're staying on the line, Patrick.
Sorry,
do you want to have a final word on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, listening to it all, I mean, there's just a lot, isn't there? We're talking, we've got the league, we've got the national team, we've got grass football, we've got stadium improving facilities. There's a lot of issues here that needs to be fixed. And all I hope is that what happens with the Lions now coming back is that is the start of these things getting looked at properly and being fixed, and there's a better product going forward. Look, I know I said yesterday about the Lions going to Australia. I still think it's not the worst idea, but if it was actually possible, I know the Phoenix are getting kicked out of the A-League in about 4 or 5 years, but that's more because they're from Oceania rather than from the AFC. Okay. But I do think there is a facility that, you know, you could have a Lions 12 concept going to play in a foreign league. I don't think, what worries me is hearing from the FAS or the suggestion that the Lions are going to come back, play in the S-League, and then they're going to go on and play in the ASEAN Super League in 2017. I don't know what that does for the S-League going forward to take out all those star players again. I don't know how you build a product. Again, it's more team chopping and changing. And it's just, as I say, I don't seem to have a lot of faith in what's going on. There doesn't seem to be a long-term plan. There doesn't seem to be much synergy between government, between schools, between sponsors, between fans, between medias to help build up those like kind of heroes to get people excited. And I think that's the worry. And I think this is a real, this is a real opportunity now where this could all get fixed, but it's going to require patience. This isn't an overnight fix. This is like a 10, 20-year plan that's needed. But it is possible, but it's going to take some money. It's going to take some people with some bright ideas. And as I say, patience. But the other thing is that just on the league, I mean, it's just even the idea of just doing a copycat of what other leagues do in the world. I think we need to kind of start being a bit clever here and thinking, well, hang on, we can't support a 10-team league. Let's have a 6-team league. Let's cut it down. Let's do it shorter. Let's try and maybe copy what the Indians are doing with the Indian Super League. Just something different. At the moment, it just seems to be there isn't idea station coming up with these things at the moment. And I think that's my kind of one concern, really.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Really good
stuff.
Yeah,
Patrick.
really, interesting. So, hang on, are the FAS actually doing this, Sass, as far as you're concerned? Are they having these brainstorming meetings? Why aren't they getting Patrick, yourself, Des, and some of the fans down and talking about and coming up with some ideas? Is it happening?
It is happening. I can tell you for a fact that it's been happening the last couple of months. I can't go too much into details professionally. I can't say it, but all I can say is that there has been some work behind the scenes. Unfortunately, the bomb was dropped on the Lions exiting. We're a little bit too premature.
Why was there no contingency plan?
Well,
there?
I think that was like I said. Now is not the time for the witch hunting.
Sorry,
it's about solutions. We know the problem exists. It's about solutions. So about the solutions moving forward, I think it is something that interestingly enough, I have a friend, and actually we manage a very young talent. He's playing in Spain at the moment. He's half Thai, half Danish. Could actually feature for the Thai national team at some stage. His father texted me last night. He said, what's going to happen with the league? And this is a Danish guy living in Singapore and caring about the Singapore football. And, we started exchanging some things. And he said, Sasi, if football means a lot to you, you got to fight. You got to fight for what's right. And if you got to fight to fix it. So I sat back and thought about it. It is true what he says. If people like us, like me, who made a living out of the game, and we still do make a living out of the game and care about the game, it's not about talking about what the problems are. You don't have to be a genius to figure out what the problem is. It's about giving solutions. I think I will continue to do that. I'll continue to engage FAS. I'll continue to give my 2 cents worth until they pick up the phone and tell me, shut up, don't do it anymore. Then I move on. But
well, a man who would love to join you on that quest is former Singapore international John Wilkinson. Hi, John. Hi, John. Can you hear us? Okay, I can't hear John. Yeah, sorry, interrupt. He was going to, I think, because he always bats in your corner. Loves what the work you do.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I appreciate it. I did hear the show last week, and what John was very kind about that. To be fair, it comes out of passion. When you do something passionately, I think it shines through, and it means something, and it means something significant. And I think that's what I want to do. Like I said, I helped over the last 6 or 7 months. I was in Malaysia working on privatization of Malaysian Super League. Des knows about that, and we were successful. And there was just some part of me saying, why can't I do this for Singapore? Why can't we have a league like Malaysia? In the context, Malaysia it's a great league for Malaysia. Even though you can see that doesn't translate into the national team.
Correct. It's a good competitive league.
It is a good competitive league, but it doesn't convert to the national team success. But you can see like clubs like JDT are so advanced. I think they've got a great leader. They've got a great plan, and that's what they're doing. Pushing
they've also got
the
bags of money.
They do, but you see, at some stage, they also, from what I understand, they're trying to be sustainable.
Correct. They are. But it needs the bags of money to get it going.
Like there's any project in the world. If we look at international football, let's look at Manchester City or PSG. You need the initial momentum.
But with all of these as well as the bags of money, there's a support base. The fan, I keep going back, community is important because the fan is the most important person. The fan who is paying the dollars to go and support the team is cheering, is crying. He is the one that football is all about. And I often think that's forgotten about in Southeast Asia.
We've got
the fan is the most important.
We've got John Wilkinson on the phone. Hi, John.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I recognise those voices.
We're all good. We're deep in conversation about fixing domestic football in Singapore.
How long are you on air for?
4 days.
It's going to take a while. Dez has been trying to fix it for, well, how old is he? 72 now? So he's been trying to fix it for 40 years. And they won't let Sassy fix it.
How would you fix it?
How would I fix it? You first need to ascertain whether in Singapore they want to fix it. If football is important, and as much as me, Sassy, you, Andy, and of course Big D Corkhill, it matters to us. We're passionate about it. Does it matter to Singapore? And I've got to be honest with you, I just don't know. I just don't know whether it matters to them. You've got. I commentated on the RHB Singapore Cup the other day, and it was such fun. There's just such drama, and a lot of people go on about the quality, the lack of it.
It's great fun, isn't it? Yeah.
There's so much drama, and you've got games going on just off your doorstep, just down the road. Public transport's so accessible, so good, and you've got drama going on down the road. Just turn your TV off, walk down the road, and there'll be all sorts. There's 25-year-olds getting sent off in the first 25 minutes of the cup final. I mean, what more drama do you want?
A last-minute winner. Oh, we got one.
Last-minute winner. Last-minute winner. Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it's great stuff. It's great stuff. And it was better. It was better when I first came over and I used to play against Geelong, and Sassy used to just step on my head and things like that. And it was better. The fans used to turn out. The quality was better. The foreigners were much better. But there's still drama. And if Lions 12 think they're going to take to the field in the S-League and walk it just because they did all right in the Malaysian League, well, they got another thing coming. But how to fix it? Well, it's cash. Throw some money at the problem. Get the right people in charge, and let's see where the land lies.
Sassy?
Yeah, I think John's got some really good points. I mean, we talk all the time when he's here doing some work for us, and just going back to a point that he brought up in last week's show about making it a TV league, which is something that Patrick, I think he mentioned earlier on. I think that's the route we need to go. We need to, because if it's a lack of rivalry, then we create heroes. We center the league around marquee players. We center the league around what's already there, which is, I believe there are about 300,000 Liverpool fans in Singapore. The number should be slightly less for Manchester United fans in Singapore. There could be Arsenal fans. There were 60,000 Arsenal fans when Arsenal was here. So the solution is right in front of us. Why don't we package a league based on that? Why don't we package the league based on that? Why don't we get offer the likes of Steven Gerrard and Drogba and different players of that caliber, and then we center football franchises around that? Why don't we do that? Then I think let's go back to crowds. I just want to ask you guys, what do you think in terms of a crowd is successful for the local league? 5,000, 7,000, 10,000?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I think
actually no, it does. It does, because I keep going back. It's about community. It's about the fans. Without the fans, without a crowd noise, yesterday's atmosphere was terrific. And we've had that even when there's during Ramadan it was a bit less because there were only 2,500, 3,000 at the stadium. But the fans make it so important. Some of these dramatic games that John's talking about in the S-League, they are dramatic, but there's nobody there to watch them.
Yeah, but the thing is the fans matter at Jalan Besar Stadium because it's a purpose-built stadium.
Correct. We agree on the stadium, John. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that it drives me nuts. You know, as a player.
Yeah.
As a player, I used to look at some of my teammates and, not being motivated. And you look at it and you think, when I first came over, and I used to think, well, do they really give a shit? Do they really give a shit? Because it's a 1-1 draw. We got 10 minutes left, and it seems like they really can't be bothered to go for the winner. But then you look around. There's no one in the stand, and you've got a big, massive, cavernous running track around the pitch, and you've got to try and make your own. And you look at the S-League teams that have been successful: Tampines, Warriors, Home United, and they were the successful ones because they had experienced players and big characters in the team. And big characters, they create an atmosphere. They create an atmosphere on the pitch. That's one of the problems I think the S-League has had, is the lack of characters. See, a lack of characters. Where's the Rafi Alis? Where's the Noor Alis? You know, even though he was a pain in the arse. Where's the Ahmad Latifs coming from now? You know, characters play a huge part. And I just don't see them. I don't see them coming up. I don't see them coming up through. And then Sassi said, then you build heroes. If there's a lack of rivalry, you build heroes. You build heroes. You need to build up characters. You can't. You've got to put players on a pedestal. Steve Darby used to say that back in the day. He used to say, you've got to have players. You've got to put them on a pedestal. You can't make them too accessible.
The media has a big job in this as well. The media, as long as I've been in Singapore, which is since 2000, it's always astonished me how disrespectful the media are to their local leagues. There are some notable exceptions, but for the most part, you give them an English Premier League story over an S-League story, and they'll take the English Premier League story, and it's always bemused
But
me.
I think the landscape is changing as well with social media, now with the digital era. I think that can be solved. That really can be solved. If we want to reach the same crowd, what the main media, the mainstream media can reach, we can do that. The technology is available. But what I think is it's important to note, I think with the stadium, we all agree with the stadium, why don't we just play in 2 stadiums then? The solution is to have Jalan Besar and have Jurong East, which is the purpose-built stadium. 6 franchise, let's play 2 stadiums. And then slowly, because Tampines Stadium is going to come up soon, and I also believe 3 or 4 other stadiums have been earmarked by the government.
I was told that in 2009 that was going to happen. We're now 2015.
But I think it's the work in progress is already started. The ball's already started rolling. I believe so. Then work towards getting 6 to 8 franchises in place, and slowly then get extra. Because Singapore, if you compare to many, even Malaysia to the matter, when you jump on the train, it's only 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes maximum you can get to the east or west or north or south. So
you haven't been on the Circle Line recently.
Okay, barring the trains not stopping. But I think those things can be solved quite easily. What we really need is a product. I think we need a product to be proud of. We need a product that's a pool. I think that's fundamental. We need to really reboot. We need to ask ourselves, what do the fans want?
A 9-month league, 3-month league.
Has a fan. He has to go now, but let's just get your reaction. Does that sound like a product you'd go and pay and watch?
To be frank with you, I've watched the S-League for a while. I've watched the Lions stuff. I watched the Malaysia Cup when I was younger. One thing that I really felt strongly with was with Singapore or Lions of anywhere where we are pitting ourselves against other teams as a whole country, simply because that it's our like what Sassi said, is our biggest strength, it's also our biggest weakness. We are so small that we can only be compared with another city, not an entire country, right? I had my former boss, he's a Malaysian, and I asked him, what's the problem with Singapore football? And then he said, well, the problem with Singapore football is that it's a city. It's not a country. I think one of the MPs also said that it's a city. It's not really a country, right? So who do you compare yourself with? And that's why I think in the last 4 years, the Lions 12 fans have been rooting for the team much more. And these are football fans that you cannot discount. They may have been watching the S-League for some time. They may have not. But the reality is these guys feel passionate about Singapore, regardless of whether they support a local club. They are very passionate about Singapore. So I would pay to watch Singapore. Whether it's the local league, I might, depending on what star power Sassi is able to bring. Maybe Gerard, maybe Fowler, who knows. But these are all stopgap measures. The way that DGT did, they brought in that Argentina guy. Only lasted for a season.
Pablo
Aimar, yeah. And it created something.
It created a real buzz. Yeah, it was good. Despite his injury problems, it created a buzz. John, I know you have to go. Just a final word from you.
Final word is that as much as we talk, it doesn't seem like anything's getting done just now. I just hope that the powers that be allow people like Sassi, allow people like Dez to get involved and have a say and get involved, because I know not at the moment there aren't the right people in place, and I hope that changes soon. I look at the horizon, I think there will be some changes soon, but I've had my fingers crossed for a long time. They're getting stiff and they're getting sore. So have a good show, guys. I'll see you all soon.
Thanks very much, John Wilkinson, former Singapore international there. On the way, on the Andy Penders Show, let's just recap where we've where we've got to. Sasikumar, former Singapore international, Dez Corkhill, football commentator, Hazrul A. Jamari, Lions 12 supporter, who'll be leaving us because we've got Home United goalkeeper Cheryl Jantan in the house after this short break.
It's a red card. And he should get 2 red cards. That's got the red card out.
Red Card Sports Radio, the best sports station in Asia.
Yo, do you know about Andy Penders Show? Great fun guaranteed. You could call it dope. Listen to the funk, make them jump because they're feeling the best sports show in the region. Even the guests are the best. So yes, tune in. Got the speakers booming. Make the whole room sing. If your passion is for football, then Andy is your man. If your passion is for football, then tune in right now. The Andy Penders Show. Yeah, every Saturday and Sunday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hong Kong time. Yeah, it's about to kick off. Haha.
This weekend on Barclays Premier League Live, Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea from White Hart Lane.
There is the chance for Harry Kane, and Harry Kane scores, takes it beautifully, long ball over the top and caught out the Arsenal defence.
Aspilicueta is able to keep the ball in play, right-footed clip, and it's in. Ramirez has put Chelsea ahead.
Hear every kick on Barclays Premier League Live.
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Let's just recap where we're at. We've been talking about Singapore football and how to improve the domestic league, how to improve the national team as well. I can't honestly say I know what the answer is, but joining me on the show is Sasikumar, former Singapore international, Dez Corkhill, football commentator, joining us in the studio, Home United goalkeeper, Cheryl Jantan. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Still, did you get any sleep yet?
More than the first night, definitely.
Okay. Some experience, though, in goal, eh? For that final?
Very, very close. We were 10 minutes away, perhaps, to extra time, at least.
You were commentating on that game, Des?
I commentated on the game. There was a red card after 25 minutes, which first glance you thought was a little bit harsh. Second glance you thought, oh, yeah, that's a red card. But if it's not given, it's a different game. Thereafter, Albirex played possession. That's what they do, yeah. Abdul Qayyum then came up and scored a thrilling goal. We thought we'd get a dramatic finale because that was 20 minutes from time. And then Albirex, to be fair, scored 2 very good goals. One a header from a corner where Rion Taki outjumped a couple of players, and then one at the end where Rion crossed for Nagasaki to score via Cheryl's left glove. You were close, Cheryl. You were close to it.
Yeah, half a feet, perhaps.
Yeah, and you're hanging up your gloves now, Cheryl? That's it?
Yep.
Yeah, done?
But I guess the sad thing is that it was quite an easy decision.
Right. What sort of S-League are you leaving behind then?
Well, after 16 years, I had players like Kade and David Lee was my main motivating factor to be a professional. 16 years down the road, it was so easy to call it a day because I had nothing to look forward for. It's been stagnant for over 5 years. So I guess it's the right time to move on. 6 S-League Championship medals, 4 Singapore Cup medals. I think I've got a good package at home.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Not a bad career.
Yeah,
not a bad career. Yeah.
But happy to leave it behind, Sas.
I think it comes to a point where, like he said, the decision is easy. Just going back to my decision, when I had to leave, it wasn't easy. It was hard. I was leaving a S-League that was quite competitive at that time. I had the opportunity to come back at Home United to spend 6 months and finish my career at my terms. It was hard. I was depressed in the first 6 months. But I think it's a different thing for Cheryl now because I think he will have a different sort of a feeling, different sort of depression of not playing football. But certainly I think he won't be missing it. The biggest motivation for any player, any professional footballer, any league in the world is to play in front of a packed crowd. 3 men and a dog, I think it's very hard to get motivated, and rightfully so. That's what he said.
Was there a good enough atmosphere at the final, Cheryl?
I guess for a swan song game, I think it was one of the best this year. Oh no, perhaps one of the best last 5 years. Yeah, and it would be the icing on the cake if I lift the trophy.
Word on the street says that you would have been given the opportunity to lift that cup as well, just to rub it in. So.
Yeah, that makes it feel great. Well done.
Yeah, but I guess one of the most recent competition I will miss will be the Champions League, where I guess I got the honor to play two seasons against Gamba, against Kashima, Henan. I think at the moment it's been 5 years now. I think that should be one of the main objectives of the FA.
Yeah, it's tough when you look at the showing from Singapore clubs in the AFC Cup this year. It's shocking. It's terrible. So what is I don't know what it is. What is the we're trying to get our national team sorted out, or the Singapore national team sorted out, or to try and compete regionally, or to try and compete domestically, or to...
You need the base. You need the base to be right, to be able to develop regionally, to develop internationally.
I think what went wrong, I think, the first time the S-League saw some sort of trouble was during the financial crisis. I believe it was 2000 and... First was 97, 98 was, so the budgets were cut, we recovered, and I think there was another one in early 2000s that truly was, after the 99 and 98, 99, teams then started cutting costs, and then they felt that, you know what, we're not really playing for anything. Why do we need to pay a foreigner $15,000 or $20,000 and bring a top-class foreigner in? When we can recycle the same foreigner that's playing in the S-League. If we go back to the stats, the number of foreign players that have been recycled around the league, it's quite embarrassing. And then what we did, we went for to the other end of the spectrum, which is to bring young Asian players, for example, Korean, Japanese, who are starting their career as professional players in the S-League. So what that does is we become their platform to be professional. And what does that do? That brings down the value and the quality of the league. It's a product that we should have always kept at a very high standard. For crying out loud, we had the boys who went to the World Cup, Hamid Reza Esteli and Muhammad Kakpur, who played with me. And until today, I've never seen foreign players that level, that discipline, and that quality, and what they bring to the team. And I was a young lad playing in the team, and these were my heroes. I was playing with. And I remember one training session very clearly. We just finished a pre-season training, and we were dead. And Hamid and Muhammad Kakpur were doing laps, and I was like, I said, Hamid, Muhammad, what were you guys doing? He said, do you think I'm training for the World S-League? We are training for the World Cup. So that is the mentality they brought us. And then I used to wear flip-flops to training, and he came up to me and said, are you a professional player, or are you a guy in the coffee shop? And since that day, I never wore flip-flops to training ever. I was dressed like a professional, and these are the impact these players had on me. Today, who are these players? Can you get a young Japanese import playing at, say, Warriors, telling the other players, hey, you should be a professional? There won't be any respect.
Not disagreeing with that, but there's a money issue. When the casinos opened, an awful lot of the club money that was made from the slot machines was lost. An awful lot of money. So the clubs lost opportunities to make cash. It always comes down to you've got to have a realistic business. They lost half of their incomes.
Just look at how much money Hwee has made with the jackpot machine. It'd be staggering.
They still make money, but they lost an awful lot with the casinos.
Not Hwee.
Lost an awful lot.
Not all. Yes, it's taken a hit, but when you look at the overall picture of how much the clubs actually derive, that also brings me to another point. A club would invest $10,000 to $15,000 on a player, but they will never invest $10,000 to $15,000 on a commercial director, who is versus the player. The player it's a cost center. He doesn't bring you any value, right? He's just purely technical. But a commercial director is going to bring money to the club. He's going to bring a couple of $1 million into the club. No club in Singapore has actually invested in the business of sports. And that is not just now in the space of the last 10, 15 years. And that's why we are here today. So a lot of underlying problems that we had.
But there's some good people running Singapore football.
There is. We'll get to that in just a second. Fakhruddin's on the line. He wrote into the show saying, I'd love to have my voice. Hi, Fakhruddin.
Hello, yes, Andy.
Yeah, everything good. Listen, is there space for a domestic football league in Singapore?
There is still space because I did some research just now. Okay. I've seen a lot of Facebook comments saying that Singapore can't make it because we are too small, we are too small, we are too small. You know, if you don't really give the domestic league a chance, then the domestic league won't even prosper. If most of our fans here they just don't care about it. They just keep giving excuses like the quality is not there, we are too small, Geylang and Tampines is too near, the uniform derby, what's a uniform derby? But I have made some comparisons. Singaporeans, they love English football, Barclays Premier League. So most of our fans are Liverpool fans. Okay, so from Liverpool to their local derby is with Everton, Goodison Park. So Anfield to Goodison Park is only 1.8 kilometers away. But when you have Tampines and Geylang, which is 5 kilometers away, 20 minutes drive, it's almost the same. It's almost the same as the Barclays Premier League. So you want to talk about population? If it's too small, okay. For Choa Chu Kang Warriors, home of the Warriors, the club that I'm supporting, we have 237,000 people staying in Choa Chu Kang. Can't 237,000 people fill up a 4,000 seater stadium? So what went wrong somewhere? I've been watching S.league since 10 years ago. I'm sorry, 10 years ago. Okay, there were a lot of people. There were a lot. When I see the live shows, I attend the games. There were a lot of people actually. Okay, they were almost full. Then slowly down the years, it starts became like 3 years back. It was like 500, 800 people. So what went wrong? This is where we have to actually each clubs have to find the root cause. What is it? The quality? Are we not putting enough effort in marketing?
Sharo, let's bring Sharo then. What's gone wrong? That's the question?
Well, I kind of agree with him. When I did my dissertation, I think 4 years ago, on fan motivation, he was right. There was over 200,000 people just staying around Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Batok, and we just need how many percent of that? 5% perhaps. So maybe back to the outreach programs that the club, what have they done? Is it sustainable? Is it they do it on a weekly basis, consistent basis? No, so they need to get real attachment with the residents there, because it's nothing geographical. I think Singapore fans, they are a little picky lot, but they want to see exciting football. I think there's no attachment in terms of you staying in Choa Chu Kang or Tampines. They just want to see football. I think at the end of the day, it's the entertainment. And like I say, like Sasi said, I've not seen a decent foreigner since Tersat left. He's one of the best midfielders in Thailand, and we've not seen any Thai players now in the S-League. And it shows that, it's important to get quality players, not only because of performance, because they could also teach our local boys a couple of things, Well, I don't know how much clubs would like to invest on the foreign players, because maybe 10 years ago you can get a good player for $5,000. This 10 years down the road now, they are still paying that money and expecting good players. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Fakhruddin, your last point, please.
Yeah, I think the way to go forward is actually to privatize the league. You see, it actually should be started way back before. Okay, when FAS actually tripled their income, as we have seen before in the Facebook, there was a leak, actually 33 million. This 33 million could have done something to the S-League. Once let's say you give the money to the clubs, okay, I give you 2 years, I give you this amount, you start to privatize yourself. Then they will have their own initiative to survive. Unlike now, I keep relying on seed money every year. 800,000, 1 million. I will still get what. This is sometimes maybe what the board will think. I will still get money at end of the year and the new year. Okay, so they have to start being to privatize. You don't have to get local community like what we're doing, like going to every house and knock. You can use let's say for Warriors, Choa Chu Kang, you can use Lot 1. You when that time 2010 we got Niklas Sandberg, you can have gone, put up a stadium, put up a show, we sign Niklas Sandberg, or actually open up the stadiums to people, to fans to come and enter and see your new signings. People will be it's another form of engagement, but nothing Like for now also, this season, 9-time champions, Warriors, no website.
Yes.
I got no info, I got nothing.
Correct.
I have to see from Facebook, which is also not regularly updated. So somehow we are a professional league, but the people running the show are amateurs. I have to say this. Because for 5 years, actually 15 years since from 2010, from 1995 to 2010, we already reached ACL, Champions League, Asian Champions League. I've seen all the matches. Right now, we should actually be comfortably in the group stages, but we are now backwards. We have to start all over again. We have to privatize, get people who knows how to sell the products.
Fakruz, you make some good points. Sasi, do you want to
excellent points. I think about the privatization. Constitutionally, the clubs are now all non-profit organizations, so they can't derive a profit out of the setup. And that's why they're all registered as a society. So it's not a profit unit. So when it's not a profit unit, no businessman in his right mind will look in that direction. And constitutionally, the S.league can actually remove a chairman. They can. There is at their discretion to remove and replace a chairman. So if I was a man very wealthy in thinking of taking over a football club, if I plow 10 to 15 million into the club, my place is not certain. I can be removed at the discretion of the S.league. So what we really need to do is to privatize the clubs, which AFC is really pushing many
in Malaysia as well.
Malaysia, it kicks off next year. Like I said earlier, we were part of that process. That's what it is. Again, on the 14th and 15th of next month, I'm actually doing a seminar on revenue generation for amateur leagues. And when I looked in the list of attendees, Singapore is not there. So we have a professional league. So the likes of Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and all the different FAs are going to come and listen to me and listen to how I have ideas on revenue generation. So the expertise is here, Andy. I think we have bright minds. It's just not me. This is not about me, right? Yeah. There are a lot of other bright minds like me, passionate, want to contribute. Give them avenue, because the only way is up for us. And that privatization point brought up by Fakhruddin is brilliant. He's brought up some points like the Asian Champions League. I used to watch Shahrukh play against and the performance they put up, and they getting to the next stage. And Home United at the AFC Cup also advanced, believe to the semi-finals when Steve Darby was coach. So we should have been taking steps forward. We should have been comfortable, and what we're doing now, we're moving backwards. And also, it's a belief within the fraternity that footballers shouldn't be paid well. Footballers are just a bunch of guys who have no education and has no privilege to earn big money. Unfortunately, the world of football doesn't know that. Football is not about whether you have a master's to earn 100,000. Let's just find out what education Lionel Messi is, because he's going to be on £800,000 a week.
Hey Fakhruddin, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I really appreciate your passion and your energy, because everyone wants to fix it, right? That's what seems to be happening. Shara,
thanks for having me in your show, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Come in on the show anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, thank you.
It's the Andy Penders Show on Red Card Sports Radio. Thanks for your company tonight. We've had a really good debate. Again, I know you have to leave us, Sasi, and Shara, you have to go. Just your final thoughts, because it's difficult to summarise it, because there seem to be so many facets of it, so many things that need to be fixed. You all have our ideas about, I know your ideas are very different to Dez's ideas, low-hanging fruit, fixing it, where to fix it. So let's just try and summarise it. Cheryl, first up, what would you like to see? What would you like to see in S.league that you've left behind?
Well, of course, I think we need to rebrand the league, so I guess it's a vicious cycle. It affects everybody, but I think it has to start from the top. Perhaps changes made, or I can't say much about the top people right now, because we want to see improvement in the league. We want to see kids kicking about and wants to be a professional footballer, having a role model to look after. Right now there's not much available for them, and if we could get crowds in, it would be good. We get the next level, because we need better foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before you go, Sasi, we've got our Wenger de Salem on the phone. Wenger.
Splendid.
Yes.
How are you, bro? Everything good? You enjoying the debate?
I'm okay. Everything is good with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've obviously been listening to the debate. We're talking about how to fix Singapore football. What's your thoughts?
Fix Singapore football. I don't know whether even God can do it or not. That's how bad it is now.
All right, well, let's try and move it forward. What solutions could you bring?
I basically blame the management of FAS for this terrible state we are in. Basically because for once I didn't won the Malaysia Cup in Singapore. We had our own professional league here. We didn't pay attention to our league, and we started moving to another league. And I think we lost about 4 years there. All the media attention for Malaysia Cup, and we didn't get much exposure here.
Well, I think Dez Corkhill would disagree with you.
No, the S-League hasn't had an awful lot of exposure. I agree with that.
Not agree with me because he's he's got a job to do. I'm talking as a fan, as a person who loves Singapore football. Dez got a job. He has to. He is the only one who makes the S-League so exciting with his voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the media has an important role, as I keep saying, to actually big up and make it exciting and create heroes. Always create heroes. And the media, as we said before, don't support generally. There are exceptions, but for the most part, listen, we know exactly how Chelsea play. We know all about John Terry's physical abilities. I've never heard anybody analyse Vidosevic's playing abilities. I've never seen a piece about him, how he's weak on the right foot, how he's good in the air, but how he's slow and ponderous or whatever. They're just something you can do. John Terry, we know all about that. And there's a lack of debate, there's a lack of respect about local football, and there's a lack of debates about what is good, what is bad, what people are doing. And I think the media's got a huge job to play in that, and I try and introduce that.
I totally agree with him. The media built me in the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay, so media is not doing anything. They're probably not right. I mean, there's another problem there also, because I think FAS goes hard on people who are outspoken. And the minute I say something, the next morning I'll have a fax or an email from them saying that I've done this, I've breached that, I've breached this, and they'll try and find me for that. So all the people are worried. Look at my good friend Sundar. He's like a mouse, you know. He's a coach, but he's a mouse. He doesn't talk because he's worried. If he talks something, and he will be vexed. So he doesn't talk. When you don't talk, how do you expect people to come and watch? So that's another. It's like the media doesn't cover. The media doesn't cover because nobody wants to talk. That's another problem there.
Sasi?
No, I think we all know that media plays a big role in. I on many occasions I've agreed with Wenger, and on many occasions I've disagreed with Wenger. I think when you speak to the media, don't forget that you are a representation of the league. You're a representation of your organization. While it can be seen as getting yourself in the media, it's also a double-edged sword in the sense that if you say the wrong thing, then you are hurting the product. You're hurting the brand.
Sasi, I disagree with you on this, because nothing hurts the product. Good, bad publicity doesn't help. It's all about publicity. The league needs publicity. Look at Chelsea. Look at what Mourinho says. Look at all these people saying all the wrong things, but the media gets attention. Here, you want to say the good things. Then how are you going to get? Who wants to listen to all the good things? Nobody wants to listen to good things.
No, I think there's a clear distinction between saying the good thing and the bad thing. I agree. Any sort of publicity is publicity. But I think sometimes you need to make sense. I think you need to make sense of some comments that is been passed, because while it's a free world, free speech and everything, but let's not forget that we are only part of a bigger thing. So what we say, what we think could actually hurt the image of clubs and brands. So
if a team loses and you criticize the team for losing, so what is it wrong?
No, it's not. It's not. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm talking about the context. So if the context is great, and even I've obviously known you for a long time. I read everything you post on Facebook or you say on in the media, and sometimes you're really entertaining, and sometimes I scratch my head. Is some of the things are maybe sometimes perhaps unnecessary, but generally you are good value, because I think you're good entertainment value that fans appreciate. I think you got your own following. People like you or hate you. There's no in between, which is great. But then again, at sometimes when you are given a important role in football, I think it's about protecting that image and protecting the club or whoever you work for. So I think I think overall, I think that's my take. So I might be wrong, but
No, you're not wrong. Yeah. I mean, you're on the other side. I'm on this side of the fence. So we are the others, and you are the others also. But I look at it. I see it. When I met Lim Chin in, he said he wanted to make Hougang a super club, and by merging it with Woodlands. But look what kind of super club are they? At the bottom of the league. How can you come and tell me this story that they are a super club? So I know, I've been around. You cannot come and bluff me all these things. You don't invest in a team, and then you want to merge two clubs. I mean, and then this can't be said in the public. This can't be said there. People need to know what's happening. Everything is hush hush under the door, sweep under the carpet. No, we are answerable to stakeholders. Stakeholders. I never heard about it in '96.
Yeah, you're answerable to fans, really, aren't you? Again, fans are the most important. A question from me, Wenger. This is Des. Can clubs make money?
Can clubs make money?
Yeah. Can they be viable businesses?
It will be a viable business if you're allowed to sell players, if you're allowed to charge for development. If you bring in a foreign player and he moves to an M League or an Indonesian league, and you are able to collect the money, then you make money. I made $80,000 in 1996 on just selling players away. In 1997, I made $100,000 just selling players to Home United, Geylang, and all that. So you see, there were rules there to make money. I traveled to Europe to find players. These clubs didn't go around to find players. They just took whoever they want to. Okay, so there are definitely ways to make. I know everybody is saying that, oh no, this is a register of society club. You are not allowed to make money. There are ways to make money in football. There are right ways to make money. Promoting youth development.
Wenger, lovely to have you on the show. This is a topic that we can talk about for hours and hours and hours, but due to time constraints, we'll say goodbye. But do come on the show soon.
Thank you very much. I hope I didn't offend anyone, but I spoke my mind.
Well, this is the place. This is why we do this. We can have our opinions, right? No one else is giving opinions.
Football is all about our opinions.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we've all got them. They're all not the same, are they?
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Okay, good to have you on the show. Let's get you on again very, very shortly. R Sasikumar, former Woodlands Wellington coach. I know Sassy has to go.
Yep.
I know Cheryl, you have to go as well. But thanks very much for coming on. We haven't even started, have we? We haven't even started, Sass.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
We need more of these.
Yeah, I think that's always been the idea. I think when we started this project with the radio station is to give the fans a voice. Let it be football, let it be anything that's happening here, is to voice. I think that nothing happens without communication. I think in this new economy, it's all about partnerships. It's about listening to your consumer base, listening to your partners, stakeholders. So if the dialogue is just one way, then nothing improves. It has to be two ways, and in platform like this will allow people to have that conversation, let have that dialogue, and like-minded people like us, people who have just called in. Let it be viral. Let this show go out into Southeast Asia, maybe in the Greater Asia, that we have a problem and we are fixing it, and hopefully we can be the conduit here. We can be the platform that someday we look back and say this conversation started here and everything sparked off. So my only wish for Singapore is that keep the passion burning, because it's important. Without passion, nothing gets done. Good or bad, we need to speak, and we need to really believe in what we stand for. So I think with that, I'm just going to shut up.
R Sasikumar on the Andy Penders Show, along with Cheryl Jantan. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Stephen McBain is in the house, and former goalkeeper Amos Boon is here as well. We'll take a look back at the Barclays Premier League, if we even care about it now.
Nope.
Right? There's some good talking points there, and we'll also continue our talk about Southeast Asian regional and local football. Here's Nicholas Lim.
Thanks, Andy. In sports news, we start in tennis, and Great Britain have taken a 2-1 lead over Belgium in the Davis Cup final. Andy and Jamie Murray claimed a 4-set victory over Steve Darcis and David Goffin in their doubles tie after Andy Murray won his singles event to cancel out Kyle Edmund's loss. Great Britain are now odds-on to win the Davis Cup and could wrap up the proceedings as early as tonight. In football, Manchester United goalkeeper Victor Valdez is finally set to leave Old Trafford. The Spaniard has been frozen out of the first team since refusing to play for the under-21s earlier in the summer. Valdez will become a free agent and will likely have several clubs chasing his signature. And finally, in golf, Australian Matt Jones has held off challengers from world number 1 Jordan Spieth and compatriot Adam Scott to win the Australian Open. Jones started the final day poorly with a double and triple bogey on the front 9, but 4 birdies later in the day was enough for him to claim the title. Spieth and Scott had to settle for joint second.
Enter a new generation of sports. Red Card Sports Radio.
This weekend on Barclays Premier League Live, Norwich City versus Arsenal from Carrow Road.
This time up towards the far post, Evergard hits it down! And it's in! Johnny Howson from no more than 2 yards out.
It's in by Özil, it's Kieran Gibbs! Oh, it's off the post and in! And Kieran Gibbs is Arsenal's hero!
Hear every kick on Barclays Premier League Live.
It's Sunday night with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Hello Singapore.
Hi Singapore.
Hi Singapore.
New season, new start, new players, except for me.
We are the Singapore Slammers.
The very best players in the world is joining forces this December.
We have a team full of exciting talent. I'm so glad to be part of the IPTL this year.
I have such a great team.
I'm so excited to play with Novak Djokovic and with Kristina Pliskova. She's a very good friend. There's Novak and Nick.
I think it was a new dimension to the tennis game, it brought back fun, excitement.
It's really an honor for me that I can play this year.
Obviously we finished last year, so we're looking to win it this year.
Be sure to come watch the Slammers this December.
A big shout out to all the fans. Come and support us.
We're gonna rock the stage.
You're listening to Red Card Sports Radio.
This weekend on Barclays Premier League Live, Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea from White Hart Lane.
Here is the chance for Harry Kane, and Harry Kane scores! Takes it beautifully, long ball over the top and caught out the Arsenal defence.
That's Piliqueta, is able to keep the ball in play. Right footed clip, and it's in! Ramirez has put Chelsea ahead!
Hear every kick on Barclays Premier League Live.
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Sunday night belter of the show on the Andy Penders Show. Thanks for joining us. Sasikumar and Cheryl have left, but we've improved the desk of love. Steve McBain is in the house, football blogger. Hi, Steve.
How are you, Andy? Good.
Excellent. Yeah, really good. Amos Boon in the house. Good to see you, Amos.
Good to see you again.
On debut.
Debut, that's right.
On debut. Awesome. What have you been up to?
Well, I was on the show last week, but then again, I've been really busy with work, so enjoying my football as well.
Yeah, good. Enjoying the local football or enjoying the
local football.
You've obviously look. I feel a bit bad. I mean, normally we do talk about the Premier League on this show, but I feel that I don't want to do it now. What's the point in highlighting that league now? Hey, what's the point? Because the victim just can't do it.
There's room for both.
Okay, is there room for both?
There is room for both.
Great.
Always has been.
Okay, good. All right.
It's just the emphasis needs to come back a little bit more to the local side of things, the interest in the local side of things. But with from where three of us are from, you've got to take an interest in the local league. How was Sunderland doing, Mr. Penders? That's what I want to ask you.
Better since I had that rant, isn't it?
So you're the reason for it, not Sam Allardyce. It's Andy Penders who has got Sunderland up and running, yeah?
I said that very thing to him yesterday.
I thought you were a Saints fan.
I am, but I had to go at Sunderland for being rubbish.
A legendary goal. You've got to look up on Facebook. It's cracking. It's cracking.
It's up there with the Keegan, I'd love it sort of. You know.
You see Watmore scored as well.
He did. I think of you, and it's a cracking goal as well. There you go, Penders. What do you know about this game?
Come on, it took him 82 minutes against 10 men.
He's a kid. He's a youngster, a promising youngster. Fabulous.
Tottenham against Chelsea's on the way, isn't it? Big Chelsea fan in the house. Go on.
Well, I was just looking at the lineups, and you know, it's really odd looking at the lineups and looking at the Spurs team versus Chelsea and actually fancying Spurs more. And what I do like about this Tottenham team is, well, first of all, I don't like the fullbacks. I think the fullbacks are rubbish. But if you actually look at that team and you look at Lloris, and then you've got Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and then you've got Dyer, Dembele, and Mason in there. It's really, really solid at the core, and that's what you used to really associate Chelsea with. You know, that solidity in the centre. They got a really, really good team, and then you got Eriksen and Kane up top. We'll do well to get anything tonight.
Yeah, looks all a bit tasty for Spurs, isn't it?
And he's a Chelsea fan.
Been a miserable season for him, isn't it?
Diego Costa's on the bench, I see. So they're going to go with, I guess, Oscar false 9, which I hate, but. He's not really been doing it, and he doesn't seem at the races. So yeah, I mean, I think Chelsea are going to try and, sit deep and
do what Chelsea do. Do what they usually do. Azpilicueta, Cahill, Zuma, Ivanovic, Fabregas, Matic, Pedro, Hazard, Willian, and Oscar. For Tottenham, it's Lloris, Rose, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Walker, Dyer, Mason, Eriksen, Dembele, and Song and Kane up front. Just before we could talk a bit more about that, Amos is here. He's played S.League. What did you think of our chat about all of the domestic football and trying to improve it?
Well, I think there was not enough time.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot to chat about. Yeah.
I'll tell you what we do. We'll have our own S.League show. Because everyone wants to come on it, right, and talk about it.
I was listening on the way over. It was great. I mean, it was really, really interesting. And I thought you made some really good points about, you're saying that at the grassroots and the community and things, you have to attack it from the top and the bottom. If you can't just go at one level. You have to go at both levels and get the two to meet up. So
okay, let's bring it back to Tottenham Chelsea now. Hey, Carter is a Chelsea fan. Hi, Carter.
Hi.
Where are you watching this game?
I'm watching it at home today.
Okay, nice. Did you go to the Lions 12 game on the weekend?
Yeah. No, sorry, I didn't watch that one. Sorry.
Okay. No interest?
No. I mean, it's quite sad that we had to leave the Malaysian League that way.
Yeah. Okay. What's going to happen to your Chelsea side tonight? Because a Chelsea fan in the studio here, Steve McBain, says that you're going to struggle.
Yeah, the lineup's kind of curious tonight. We are not playing with an out-and-out striker. Yeah, so that really intrigued me tonight.
Yeah.
Actually, being a Tottenham fan, I'm actually quite worried. I'd rather Costa play because he hasn't been having a good season to start off with, and now they've got more attacking, more ball players with Pedro, and so I'm a little bit more worried actually.
But they look very lightweight. You look at that, Pedro,
I think
Oscar.
we're just going for the conservative game here. Right.
So lightweight up front. They've got 5 big, brutal defenders, big goalkeeper, and 5 footers the Barcelona way, and only really Hazard has got the ability to hold the ball up. It's very interesting. Tottenham look really settled. They look like they've got a good shape. They've got strength. They've got teamwork. They've got goals. And this Chelsea, I don't know what's happened.
It's just not a Mourinho team, like you say. I mean, you look at the front players, and he's always played very effective football, efficient football. This is not. It's a team that's just completely disconnected, and there's no balance to the side. Like you say, you've got these these big bruisers at the back, and then your little guys up front. It just doesn't feel. There's no Essien, there's no Lampard, there's no power in the team up front. And
so, do you feel like Mourinho's lost his way, being in a situation where he's never been?
what I kind of just feel is it's just my own sort of gut feeling with this is that when he came back, I feel that he came back on probably lesser terms than he was originally on, where he's had to compromise a bit. He's having to try and play a certain style of football which isn't really his natural instinct. It's the same as sort of Benitez at Madrid. You know, you're expected to play a certain way because, you know, Abramovich, you know, okay, we've done this. You know, I want to play this way. I want to play attacking football, and so he's kind of doing it, you know, almost with a handbrake, you know, on. So he's got this sort of team. Costa was meant to be the fulcrum, and when he was playing well, Chelsea looked really good. But this is the thing: if you take the centre forward out of any team, they're always going to struggle, and that's the problem. I mean, Chelsea.
Well, Liverpool did it well last weekend against City.
But, you know, at the same time, you know, with Rodgers last year, would Brendan Rodgers have been in the same problem if he'd had Daniel Sturridge fit all season? If your centre forward is fit, scoring goals, and, you know, just getting busy, you know, every week you're getting on the score sheet, it makes a hell of a difference. And I think that's been Chelsea's problem for the last 5 years.
They've never replaced the spine. Every good team you have has a good goalkeeper, good centre back, good centre midfield, strong striker. That spine is always there, and they hasn't replaced them. Czech's not been replaced really, although we thought he would be. The back four, Terry's not been replaced, although you think Cahill might. In midfield, Matic hasn't delivered like Frank Lampard in different ways, and up front, Costa isn't Drogba. So they've lost that spine, and they got away with it for a year. And now it's
got away with it. Well, they won.
Well, they won. That's what I mean. They got away with not having that great spine.
Okay.
And so they've fooled all of us into thinking that this is the next great Chelsea team.
What's going to happen in this game, Carter?
I don't know. We might just be playing a little bit more conservative.
Okay.
Probably playing on the counter attack. So, but just that I'm just a little worried about the pace of the Spurs team and the form of the Spurs team. So I'm not that optimistic about it, but still have some faith in the manager and the squad. So I'm probably hoping for a draw at least.
Okay, a draw would be a good result, says Carter. Terence is a Tottenham fan. Hi, Terence.
Hi, good evening.
Everything points. Okay, this is a real good test for Tottenham to see whether they are top four, have top four credentials in them.
Exactly. I think Mourinho would have learned his lesson from the last time that they played us. So you can see from today's lineup that they have no striker.
That was a shocking game. I remember watching that. Tottenham just absolute brilliance. So how optimistic are Tottenham fans? Because normally you're quite miserable as Tottenham fans, right? Because nothing quite goes right. But Pochettino's got your team playing really well.
Yeah, really well, but we'll still be worried until the final whistle. We'll never know what might happen in the last 10 minutes. So, you know, I think we need to go ahead before halftime today to calm some nerves.
Tottenham don't score in the first half, mate. That's not what you do. I think statistically, you've only scored that.
But look at their form. Tottenham. This is the real deal, this Tottenham team. Yeah. You look at their form, 12 unbeaten, only one defeat in the league all season. It's scoring goals for fun, beating good teams. Even if they were to lose the odd one here and there, this Tottenham team, top four.
Let's get some more stats from Nicholas Lim. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Andy. You got a question for me? You usually do.
Yeah. What are your stats?
Well, Chelsea may be slowly finding their feet, but history is not on their side in this fixture. The Blues have won just once in their last 9 visits to White Hart Lane, with Tottenham winning 4 of those. On top of that, Spurs have only lost 2 of their last 20 games at home and are unbeaten in 12 matches. Chelsea will be hoping Eden Hazard can find his form on the ground he enjoys playing. The Belgian has scored in his last 3 appearances against Spurs, but Spurs have a lethal weapon in Harry Kane after a goal drought at the start of the campaign. Kane has now scored 7 in 4 league games. Stats-wise, it doesn't look like Chelsea will get anything out of this game, but it's a derby. What the hell do I know?
It is a derby, and just ahead of this game on BT Sport, Terence, Jose Mourinho has said, "I am not bluffing. Tottenham are title contenders. I really think that they're a really good side." Do you consider yourself title contenders?
Title contenders, not this season, but definitely in a couple of seasons' time. I think recently Gary Neville wrote a very good article analysing Pochettino's methods and his philosophy, and I think it has all come true pretty well. But I think we are still maybe 1 or 2 quality players short of challenging for the title.
Okay, score prediction tonight, please. Where are you watching it first?
I'm actually going to watch on my mobile because I'm attending a wedding dinner. Otherwise, I'll be at the Spurs Supporters Club.
So surreptitiously looking at it under the table, like.
Is it your wedding? Or?
No, it's not my wedding. It's a friend's wedding.
And a score prediction, please, Terence.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Spurs.
Go the Spurs.
Enjoy the wedding.
As a Spurs fan, Amos, do you agree? Everything's looking rosy. Are you going to win this game comfortably?
Well, comfortably or not, I think Spurs are a team on form. They're full of they're on a high right now. The only concern I have is basically they've got just 1 day less rest time compared to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I think
trip
Spurs.
as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I think Spurs should edge this game.
Amos, this travel, this rest, it's crock, isn't it?
Is it crock? Because in a nice aeroplane, everything all right. You get fed and looked after.
Actually, it does take a toll as a player. And I've played those AFC games where you play actually away and you travel back.
Yeah, but that's a 9-hour flight or something where you've been. Or it's long travel days.
It's long travel days. It takes its toll as well. You just played the game. You haven't had. You normally would need a recovery period as well. So normally depends on the gaffer and the physios and how well they can actually get you back in shape in such a short time.
But you're fit lads, you train 1,000 times a year.
You can't tell him what it's like. He's telling you what it's like.
I'm asking and I'm incredulous every time. So poor old Arsenal in their 14-minute flight to Norwich, they'll really suffer from jet lag.
But if you see exactly, this is what happened to Man United and Leicester yesterday. Manchester came out and they were not the team that they usually are. They were losing the balls. They
played quite well yesterday. That's not the team they usually are.
They were Manchester United turned up and they couldn't get the passes going. They started better in the second half because I think they were more adjusted already. But the first half, they didn't really turn up.
Aren't you just making excuses for highly played professional athletes here? They pass. That's what they do. They've got to find their nearest man. They can all play. So not being able to pass to your nearest man, that's not a plane journey's fault.
Well, it depends on the game as well. If you're playing an away game and basically you're on the back end and you're basically on the back foot and you're chasing the game, it does take a toll.
I remain incredulous, but I never played top flight.
No,
I never played any flight.
Hey, just thinking, no Loic Remy today. They'd be spewing money.
Well, I mean, Mourinho just obviously doesn't fancy him. I think another problem with Chelsea, since Mourinho's come back, is who's actually buying and selling the players. I mean, we've had 2 left backs who've come in who he just simply doesn't rate. Loic Remy, I mean, what is the point in spending 8 to 10 million on a player if you're just not going to play him? I mean, if Diego Costa's being dropped and Loic Remy's still not being played, then there's just no point in being at the club.
Where are these kids? I heard Chelsea have been winning all these trophies, left, right and centre. They're developing all of these. Where are these kids coming from? Because my understanding was when he came back, he was to develop the next generation. Where are they?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, as much as I, absolutely, think that Mourinho walks on water, the one thing where I think there's a massive hole in his entire career is that he's entirely neglected the whole youth thing wherever he's gone. It's a very short-term approach wherever he's been, and that's we're seeing it this season. I mean, this is the thing: can he come back and do this? I mean, he spoke about Loftus-Cheek, said he was going to give him a run of games, substituted him after 45 minutes in the first game. I actually thought he played quite well. In fact, I was at that game. I was at the Villa game. I was there. I thought he actually played quite well, and then he said, no, his positional discipline was terrible. Took him off, and we haven't seen him since. There are definitely some good players. I saw something in the press saying that they've now got this science, officer who said that the optimum age for them to come into the team is 22.
So bang goes Messi. Cannot play. You're not good enough.
I mean, seriously. I mean, as a Chelsea fan, I'd love to stand here and defend it, but it's just nonsensical. So, I mean, if it's
crazy, no Harry Kane, no Dele Alli, no. It's a whole heap of players. Raheem Sterling. That's ridiculous.
Wayne Rooney.
Well, yeah.
Look, I mean, I don't know a Chelsea fan that I've spoken to that doesn't rate Loftus-Cheek. Everyone wants
he was the saviour of your season a few weeks ago. Everyone's screaming.
But he can't be if he's not getting on the pitch. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you look at how badly so many of these players have been performing. I mean, you look at those lineups today, and how many of those Chelsea players would you have over the Spurs? But just today, how many would you have? Almost none.
Yeah. William, he'll get in.
Yeah, I mean, okay, William would get in. Apart from that, I mean, even Hazard, would you have Hazard over Eriksen? I wouldn't, not today.
Not today. Hyung Sung Min, have him all day long over Oscar.
Over a great season. It's been fantastic. I just can't wait for it to carry on.
Son Hyung Min.
What did I say?
Hyung Min Son.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I think the key with Spurs.
What did I say?
Hyung Min Son.
Okay, sorry, I apologise.
It's like saying on a commentary, Penders Andy. It's wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I just think the key with the Spurs team, and this has been the big problem with Chelsea, and it's the big problem with Arsenal as well, is that the Spurs team is balanced. You look at these teams, and I think that's what Klopp's done at Liverpool as well. They look much better balanced. And it's not about having the best 11 players on the pitch. You look at Real Madrid, they picked probably their best 11 players against Barcelona last week, got thrashed. Then he picked a balanced team, and they won. And Spurs look a really balanced team, good team.
Yeah. Let's get some predictions then. Start with you, Dez.
Tottenham. I like Tottenham, which means Chelsea will win. But no, Tottenham to win this one. Not comfortably, but Tottenham to win it.
Steve.
I have to pick Spurs to win this. They're a good team.
And Amos.
2-0 to Spurs, of course.
Yeah, of course. There you go. Okay, we've got some more matches to look forward to. We've also got some other Barclays Premier League matches to look back at, because Leicester and Jamie Vardy really stealing the show yesterday. I thought I'd just break things up. I think I might have a quiz. How'd you fancy that?
Do we have a choice?
Well, yeah, you can. We can look at what Amos Boon has been tweeting over the last year. Actually, that's quite a good game. 654 followers this boy's got.
Hello.
Yeah? Last tweet, October the 6th. But what other things have you been tweeting?
And there was the bloke last night had lost his password, he said, right? He hadn't been on for like 18 months.
Yeah, hadn't been on for a while. Yeah.
Are you stalking me?
Yeah, I had to, because... Okay, here we go. Is this true or false that you've posted this, guys, right? On Amos Boon's account. Counting down the days to J.S. Lee and S.G. January the 7th. Who's J.S. Lee? Who's J.S. Lee?
It's a true or false question?
No, I'm asking... No, yes, what you posted. Who is J.S. Lee?
All right. Well, they're a pair of twins, and they're a YouTube sensation. They've got about 1 million followers, and they performed in Singapore.
19th of April 2014. Aeon, a drummer from Korean band Bebop, is making waves, and she's hot too, besides being talented.
Yeah, I was stalking this Korean girl. She's pretty hot. She plays the drums.
12th of March 2014. Rain seems to be everywhere now.
What's that about?
Why are you posting that? Who cares about that? Why would you tweet that?
Are you talking about the Korean singer Rain, or like the physical Rain?
19th of January 2014. It's extremely cold today, but I had to try the soft tree ice cream with honey chips. Awesome.
Have you seen that boring James Milner account? Have you seen that one?
Oh, wait till you see
your reputation is trashed, mate.
Wait till you see my Instagram account then.
Awesome. No, I'm a follower now, so you now have 655 followers.
I'm going to delete you.
Block me.
Yeah, I could block you.
You have exactly 30 more followers than Dez Corkhill with 619. 190 tweets.
Something must be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should try the soft tree ice cream there.
Start taking photos of food. That is when I shoot
that's
myself.
actually an ice cream that I found in Korea, and but you can get it now in Singapore. But it was fantastic.
It's still not an interesting story.
I made homemade ice cream.
It still got me 600 followers.
Did you tweet about it?
I didn't actually, but I should.
Take photos of it, Steve.
I will.
That's what Singaporeans love, food.
August the 22nd, 2015.
You're still at it?
No, I'm on to Dez now. Right, losing a smartphone is frustrating. Losing its replacement inside 2 weeks is curses. What are you on about? Who cares about that?
No, because I lost all my connections, all my...
But you still found a way to get on the social...
Was that from your laptop then?
That was my laptop, yeah. I was born in 1963. Things like mobile phones are an anathema to me. I used to like the ones where you could pick them up and there was a big cord on it, went ding, ding. Yeah. That's the technology.
August the 13th this year. Dez Corkhill, the greatest Malaysian story you barely saw. That sounds like an interesting story.
It was. There was an article on Fourth Official.
Yeah. Go on.
It was a 2,000 word piece about the lack of local league television coverage in Malaysia compared to what you get in Liverpool, Man United, and yet there's millions and millions and millions of supporters of Malaysian football. Similar story to what we had here. I'm passionate that the local leagues aren't represented enough in our local press.
Okay. March the 29th, searingly hot day for football with Stanley Bernard for Malaysia versus Macau, 1-0 half-time. Sweating just standing, never mind playing. Hot, was it?
It was hot. What did they get up to there? It was about 40 degrees. It was hot.
Jeez. Last one, 4th of March 2014. Note to self. Don't travel by plane on Saturday mornings. Queues and frustrations means it's just not worth it.
It is not worth it. Saturday morning's not worth travelling. Friday night, other times.
Okay. I didn't look at yours, Steve. I don't think you got that many followers.
It's rubbish.
Is it?
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Leicester up against Manchester United. Jamie Vardy writing his name into the Premier League history books by scoring for the 11th successive game.
Schmeichel, the son of a Manchester United legend, has got the ball forward quickly. Now here's a chance for Vardy. He's done it. Jamie Vardy makes history. He's buried the ball into the net as he has been doing all season. 11 straight Premier League games with a goal. Nobody has ever done that in history. Jamie Vardy, would you believe it, has written his name into football folklore. Incredible.
Got to admit, I let out a little cheer when I saw that he scored. Here's Claudio Ranieri talking about Jamie Vardy after the game.
We have today two objectives. One, win the match, and second, try to help Jamie take the record. And we drew the match, but we helped Jamie to score a goal. And then we are very, very pleased. I think the match was very difficult for us because United keep possession of the ball very well, and the central midfielders, they have a very good players who touch and move the ball very, very with great quality. But we show our strength. The first clear chance we score a goal. It was a little sad that we conceded a goal in the corner at the end of the first half, but it's okay. We know that because we leave some centimeters to them. We are smaller than them. It's okay.
It's okay. I love hearing from Claudio Ranieri. Vardy's 14 goals this season means he's Leicester's top goal scorer in a Premier League season ever now. Surpassing who, guys?
No, what would be Lineker? Lineker surely scored. Oh, you're talking since
Premier
football
League.
was invented in
Yeah.
1990.
Football didn't exist before the Premiership came
So
out.
who would have scored?
It's got to be under Martin O'Neill, right?
Heskey,
Who's the
Emil.
Nope.
Alan Smith.
Someone close to Southeast Asia, actually.
Tony
Cottee. Yeah, there you go. Can Leicester keep mixing it at the top, Des?
It's a smallish squad, but you look at the ability. Everyone's talking about Vardy. The pass from Christian Fuchs, the left back, who was playing on the right side, the quick release. They're playing a quick style of football. They've got ordinary players doing extraordinary jobs. Kevin Drinkwater, Wes Morgan playing out of their skins. You suspect it might be just a little bit too much because you look at a little bit of a lack of depth. Yeah, really, but they could well be top 6 because they've been there before. In 2000 under Martin O'Neill, they had this same kind of spirit, and back in 1962-63 they were top of the table at Christmas as well.
Wow, good start. Fuchs, that's his first ever Premier League assist, by the way. He's become the 7th Austrian to do that.
Splendid.
Nicky, name the other 6. I'm just joking. How about Jamie Vardy then, Steve? He's a bit special. Have him up front for England. Boom, we're done for Euro 2016, aren't we?
Seriously, I think you boys could do a lot worse. I mean, you look at him, he's got pace, he's got intelligence, the movement. I mean, you were just saying about the assist yesterday. I mean, the anticipation on his runs. I mean, he's making these runs so early. Leicester had a great chance in the second half. The other... what was the other guy's name? He shot it straight at De Gea. Right. But Vardy was, teeming up the left.
He was
open.
Yeah, the unpronounceable.
And easy for you.
Ujoa.
But I mean, again, Vardy, his anticipation, if he's got the guys there to make the passes, and if he's got the quality behind him, he really, really is a really top class centre forward. And you see this thing he's doing with the academy as well.
He's got his own academy.
Yeah, he's setting up this thing so every year there'll be a week where non-league players can go along. They'll play in front of Premiership scouts and the whole thing and stuff. I mean, he's really doing things. It's a great story.
It is a good story. I think he's one of 4 non-league players in the England squad recently.
Yes.
He actually reminds me of a young Wayne Rooney. Like, where he's feisty, he's not afraid going for the challenge, and he runs and runs. So
talking of Wayne Rooney, he's gone, isn't he? Is he gone now? Is that official? Got hauled off? Is he gone? I mean, I don't know.
No, he'll come good. Come the season end.
Don't tell me he's got to play in a different position. He can't.
He's a wonderful player, Wayne Rooney.
Well, he is now, but there's better players now.
He's going through what I think Alan Shearer went through. Roy Keane also had to do this, where he has to learn to adapt his game. So, while he's learning that, I think he's going through this lull. But I think he's too good a player. He's a class player, and he will adapt. But it's just taking him a bit of time. He's got to figure it out for himself, I think, as much as anything.
Okay. Let's get some score predictions. So, what am I on about?
1-1, I reckon.
And I reckon Vardy will break Van Nistelrooy's record.
And Schweinsteiger will score a jammy goal just before half-time.
That's his first goal since May, when he scored for Bayern Munich against Mainz. Okazaki was playing in that game.
He certainly was. Okazaki. He's a good player. Tell you what, though, these non-league players playing for England, the academies aren't working because the players are cosseted and looked after. And we talked about Chelsea and nobody's coming through. So the old style of having to work your way through is still a valid way to make your way through in football, because there's a solid base in football. Fleetwood Town, Southport, those kind of teams are a good base for players to come through and play at a better level.
See Brighton at the top of the Championship. Just thought I'd mention it. Hotbed of Southern football's looking good. Bournemouth, Super Saints. Next up, Manchester United playing at home to West Ham on Saturday. Then they travel to Wolfsburg. Leicester play away to Swansea in the Premier League next Saturday. Swansea in action a little bit later on. They take on Liverpool. How's that going to go, Des? You're a Liverpool fan. I think you're going to get battered.
I don't think so. I think Swansea are a busted flush, even before Gary Monk. Again, you look at their players; they had a great start to the season. Everyone was saying, "What a coach! What a group of players!" And in a radio show up in Malaysia, I said, "I don't think Swansea will be there at the top of the at the end of the season. I think they could be close to relegation." And not want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm blowing my own trumpet, and I think I'm right.
Right, let's not talk about how bad Swansea are, because they can still do that. Every team can beat every team, right? John Joe Shelby's going to score from distance tonight. I'll give you a tip.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Well, I think he's not playing though.
I
think he's been ruled out. I think either through suspension or injury.
All right.
So thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Yeah, you can watch the football there, Steve. You got that?
So you want a Liverpool perspective?
Well, I just think you're playing at home. You don't win at home. You've already been done by Palace, and Super Saints held you there. You're just not impressive. You've got to work so hard.
It's a different team now. The Palace were a little bit unfortunate. Palace came at Liverpool, but what Klopp did was he threw caution to the wind in the last 20 minutes there, and I'd much rather go and lose a game trying to win it than not try and win it, as was beginning to be the case under Brendan Rodgers. I was a Rodgers fan, but wow, Klopp is doing a sensational job.
Because he's got them working harder, pressing, all this Gergegen pressing.
He's got them believing in themselves. He's got balance. Right. He's got players playing in the right positions. The players believe themselves. Lovren looks a completely different defender. Mourinho looks like he's enjoying it. He defends his players. He's passionate. All the things that Rodgers was 2 years ago. I think just the top flight coaches, it's such a high pressure job. It gets to you, even somebody like Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, okay. I still think Swansea are going to turn you over though.
I'll have a little wager with you on that, if that's allowed.
Can I have the draw?
Yeah, you can have the draw.
All day long. Okay, well, what's your perspective on that, Steve?
I mean, I think with Swansea, I feel sorry for Gary Monk, because I think he's made a decent fist of things. And again, it's like what I was saying about Diego Costa with Chelsea. He's had his strikers sold out from underneath him, Wilfred Bonney. And, you put Bonney back into that team and, those goals. And, then they're probably, they're a decent mid-table club. I mean, there's a structure in place. And I accept that. But what really frustrates me is that you've got all these clubs that talk about these long-term plans, and then just these short-term reactions to form. You know, 2 months ago we're talking about him being the next England manager. Now, a run of, okay, they've been playing poorly, and now all of a sudden he's going to be out of a job. It's just nonsensical. It's so reactionary. Give the guy a chance. I mean, he's a good young manager. Swansea are punching way above their weight. I mean, it's a great time to be a Swansea fan. Exactly. I mean, what's there to be so upset about? I remember it was the same with Charlton, with Kirbishley, Stoke with Pulis. I got Pulis right tonight. It's always the same. It's just, it's never good enough. And, I really hope they stick with him. He deserves better, I think.
Score prediction, please, Steve.
I think Liverpool will win this.
Yeah, Amos Boon?
Yeah, Liverpool.
Yeah. Nick Lim, producer, Liverpool fan?
Yeah, Liverpool, 2-1.
Yeah, not having it. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Sunderland. Think of Sunderland whenever Andy Penders says anything.
I was spot on when I was talking about them, by the way. Hey, let's have a Premier League quiz. I feel like a quiz coming on now. This is for you, Des, and for you, well, for all three of you. And then what we'll do is we'll take a look back at some of the bigger games on Saturday, because nothing really happened on Saturday. They got Man City beating Southampton. We all knew they were going to do that. Everton, Bournemouth. That's 3-0. Anyway, so I'll do a Premier League quiz, shall we? Woohoo! Which team won the Football League, Des, before the Premier League was invented?
91 was Arsenal, wasn't it?
Leeds.
It was Leeds.
I thought Leeds were the first Premier League winners.
No,
was it? Okay.
Oh dear. How many goals did Alan Shearer score during his 14 years in the Premier League?
200 not.
200.
You can answer as well, Amos, if you know.
260.
260, spot on.
Wow.
How many teams did Les Ferdinand play for in his 13 years in the Premier League?
QPR, Newcastle, Spurs.
Somebody else, wasn't
Did he
it?
go anywhere else after that?
They were the big three. Did he go down the leagues?
3.
No,
It's
in
only
the Premier League.
Premier League.
I think that's only 3.
3.
I think that's only 3.
3.
6.
6.
6.
Who else? Charlton?
No, you got Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Tottenham.
West Ham United.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Leicester City. Bolton Wanderers. 349 games, scoring 150 goals.
West Ham, I forgot. I don't remember the last two.
Which football club signed Emil Heskey from Birmingham City?
Got to be Leicester, right?
No.
Or from Burton's late. He went to
Not doing very well in this, are
Bolton.
No.
Emil Heskey.
Did he go to Villa, Wigan, Liverpool, or Leicester?
Wigan.
Yeah, well done. How many teams did Paul Ince play for in his 12 years in the Premier League?
Man United, Liverpool.
Borough.
Hang on. West Ham was before, so that was 86 West Ham, wasn't it? No, 96. 86. Is this a Premier League question? Is this since football was reinvented?
Yeah, since football was reinvented.
Okay, so he left West Ham.
He left West Ham about 90.
Had he left Man United by then?
He left Man United. Well, he was playing for Man United in '95. Because I remember the 2-2. At,
at Old Trafford when Cantona came back.
West Ham. No, when they lost to Blackburn on the final day. When you guys turned Blackburn over.
Yeah. Okay. So
where
Man United, Liverpool,
Borough.
Is that where he ended?
Wolves.
Yeah, you got him. That's it. 4. Well done. Which team did Gareth Southgate start his Premier League career with in 1992?
Crystal Palace.
Good question. Flipping heck, you're good, mate.
Which team was Martin Keown playing for in the first year of the Premier League?
Everton.
Yep. Which of these teams did not compete in the first ever Premier League season? Oldham, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle United, Southampton.
Newcastle United.
Yeah.
Gosh, McBain is flying.
Steve Shaw.
So Steve,
flying.
Can you name all the original teams in the Premier League?
I had no friends then.
I got Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday were there. Wimbledon were there.
Of course.
Yeah. Oldham, Ipswich Town. What year did Robbie Fowler make his debut in the Premier League?
94.
Owen was 97. So Fowler's got to be like 90. I reckon 90. It's either
93, 94 season.
93 was correct. Against who?
I can tell you Michael Owens.
That was against Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, he scored a penalty.
But he didn't ask Michael Owens. Robbie Fowler came on.
Against Chelsea it was, September the 25th. Which teams did Nick Barmby play for in the Premier League?
Everton, Liverpool, Middlesbrough. Hull.
Yeah.
4.
Everton.
Everton.
Yeah, got that, Everton.
Basically, anyone north of Watford, right?
Manchester City?
Spurs? Did we say Spurs?
Manchester? No, not Manchester City. What are you on about, you?
Yeah,
Coventry?
Blue.
Said Spurs, right?
Yep. You got Spurs. What did we say? Spurs.
Hull, Liverpool, Everton.
Yeah.
And how many more? 2 more?
You got 2 more.
Did he put on a Bradford shirt at one point?
No. Premier League. You might have done, but Premier League. I know Bradford were in the Premier League. You're missing... Oh, you got Middlesbrough, haven't you?
Yeah.
Leeds United.
Yeah, indeed he did.
Yeah.
Indeed he did.
Who was the first American to play in the Premier League?
Brad Friedel.
Roy Wegerle.
No.
Casey Keller.
No.
Goalkeeper.
Was it Craig Johnson, Brad Friedel, John Harkes, or Casey Keller?
I said Brad Friedel.
Yeah,
So John Harkes
Casey
then.
Keller.
John Harkes.
When did Roy Wegerle play?
Well, perhaps he might have been non-Premier League.
Wasn't he
Premier League
Canadian?
quiz.
Or was he American?
No, he's American. Mate, stewards on that one, mate.
He was the second American to score at Wembley.
Roy Wegerle.
No.
John Harkes for Sheffield Wednesday.
How much did Sky B pay for the first 5-year deal to televise the Premier League?
Great question.
First, how long was the deal?
First one.
5-year
years.
deal.
35 million.
300 million.
You're going 300? Nice.
35 million.
You're going... that's a big difference. Oh,
300 million.
305 million it was. You don't care, do you, Steve? You're too busy looking up.
I'm Roy Wegerle.
I'll continue with the quiz theme. You can join in on this one now, Amos.
I will. I'm just watching the Spurs game. So
Oh, yeah? What's happened?
Kane almost scored.
That's what I'm trying not to watch.
Which striker did Chelsea buy for £300,000 in '97, who went on to make 163 appearances for the Blues, scoring 50 goals?
Roy Wegerle.
Give us a goal, Roy Wegerle.
Torrey Andrew Flood.
Yes, who scored the winning goal for Chelsea in the '98 Cup Winners' Cup?
Gianfranco Zola.
What is Frank Lampard's highest goal tally for one season?
League or all competitions?
I don't know, Nick?
20-something. 20 in the league.
I can't remember. I'm not sure. There was just the stat that was given to me. It didn't really specify.
Oh, we got to be more accurate.
All competitions,
in the
yes.
house.
All competitions. I think did he manage 31 year? I think he managed 31 year.
Yeah, I've got 22 written there. After Jose Mourinho
That's
left
really
in 2007, how many managers did the Blues run through before he returned?
Scolari, Ancelotti.
7.
Avram Grant 3. Hiddink 4.
AVB.
5.
Di Matteo. Rafa Benitez.
7.
7 sounds cheap.
There's 8. You're missing one.
8. You said Avram Grant.
Scolari, Hiddink.
Ancelotti.
No, said him. Said
Oh,
Ancelotti.
okay. Nick?
Yeah, it was 8.
I know, but who was it? That's what I'm trying to work out. What is the name of the Chelsea official mascot?
What's his... Oh, God.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
I can't believe you don't know this one, Steve.
That's a stupid
You
line.
had everything else right.
Yeah, I'm not good on mascots. Is a bit of a
Morris the Lion or something. Or yeah.
Is it Ruby the Bridge? Stanford the Lion?
Stanford the Lion.
In Chelsea's title-winning season in 2004-05, how many matches did they lose?
1.
Yeah, between the 20th of March 2004 and 26th of October 2008, Chelsea were unbeaten at home for 86 straight games in the Premier League. Which team ended that streak?
Because they lost in the Cup.
That was against Palace, wasn't it?
Charlton, I think.
Oh, Charlton, yeah, you're right, Charlton, yeah.
Sunderland I'll go for.
No. Des, do you know?
The super duper mighty Red.
Yeah, it was. Which team? Who did Chelsea beat in the 2011-2012 Champions League final? And what was
good fortune? Its very self. They beat all levels of sanity to win that game. So they beat the world. Bayern Munich.
Yeah. 4-3 on pens.
Now, Roy Wegerle played for Coventry in 92-93, so he must have been the first American to play in.
Well, he must have been.
Yeah.
92, yeah, he must have been. Really? And he's definitely American, isn't he?
He is. Good player as well.
Yeah, he's all right. 10 minutes past 8. Thanks for joining us. We've had Andy Penders Show on Red Card Sports Radio. We've been looking at the current state of domestic football in Singapore. We had a good chat with Sasikumar and Cheryl Jantan. Dez Corkhill's here joining us. Steve McBain's here. Amos Boon is here as well. We're taking a look back at yesterday's action in the Barclays Premier League. We also got to play True or False, which is something I like to do right now.
Frank Lampard scored 27 times in one season. 22 in the league.
Hang on. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So my 30 was not too
Not
far.
bad, yeah. Right, it's time to play True or False.
It's time to play Pundit True or False with your host, Andy Penders.
Is it true or is it false? Dez Corkhill, Steve McBain and Amos Boon are our contestants today, trying to fool and trick each other into voting for them in some manner. I haven't quite got the rules written down properly yet, but Dez, we'll start off with you with your true or false statement.
Okay, Leicester City. We all know Leicester City are only one of two teams to have been able to play and win the Charity Shield. True or false?
Say that again.
Leicester City. I say they've won the Charity Shield. That's your first question. Have they really? And if they did, they are only one of two teams to have done so without having won the league or the cup.
Oh, good, fair. Okay, Leicester City. So they would have won. Okay. When were they runners-up then?
Is it true or is it false?
I'm just going to go true because I don't know why you'd make that up.
Oh, yeah, it's absolute nonsense. Crap. Rubbish. Amos?
False.
It is indeed true. They beat Liverpool 1971, having lost in the 1970, having lost the cup final to Manchester City.
So you need someone to do the double almost, do you?
Arsenal did the double. Indeed. And Arsenal, because they did the double, were playing a European match for some reason. So the Charity Shield, which is a pre-season friendly, was between Liverpool and Leicester.
Gotcha, very nice. Steve
You're right, there's too much detail into that. Why the heck would somebody make that false? I need to look at the strategy.
Steve McBain.
1989. Now, as you know, Scotland qualified for Italia 90. Now, 1989, in training ahead of Scotland's last qualifier at Hampden. I don't know if you know, but a lot of the Rangers and Celtic players all live out by Helensburgh, Gairloch Head, which is to the west of Glasgow. Now, Frank McAvenny wasn't renowned for being the smartest guy in the world. Ali McCoist was giving him a lift back from training. And this is about the time when, you have the whole leaded and unleaded cars and things. Halfway through the journey, McCoy's cracked a joke to McAvenny that the car was fitted with a new Catholic converter. And as you know, unfortunately, the whole sectarian problems of Rangers and Celtic. McAvenny threw a wobbler and got out of the car and took a bus the rest of the way home.
Where did you hear this story?
Where did I hear it? It's in McCoy's biography.
Well, then I think it's true. Sounds like a good story, Amos.
Why would someone make something like that up? Right. So it must be true then.
And McAvenny was a good Catholic boy, wasn't he? So he may well have done it. But that is the double bluff from McBain. So I reckon it's every chance of it being true, but it's therefore false.
Yeah, I made up about 4:30 this afternoon.
What's the scores on the doors, Nick?
Steve and Des both have 3 points. You and Amos have nothing.
Huge. Here's Amos Spoon.
All right, so I'm gonna pull some points back for me. Okay, on the local front, I think maybe this might benefit Des a bit. On the local front, back in 2003, the S.league decided to have penalty shootouts for every games that were drawn in the league, and the winning team will eventually get an additional 1 point. In that year, Sengkang Marine, which was the lower side, won 10 of those penalty shootouts, having mastered another additional 10 points and bring them in the middle of the league. Is that true or false?
Wow. Do you remember the penalty shootouts?
I remember the penalty shootouts, yes.
Was it a good idea or a bad idea?
Dreadful idea.
Was it?
Yeah.
It didn't encourage anything?
No.
Lots of American people at games, though.
The crowds weren't bad, though. Bizarrely, I was looking at rsf.com earlier on, and all the attendances were around about 2,500, 3,000 official
Yeah,
attendances there.
they're pretty good attendances then.
They weren't bad, so there was one or two decent.
Was it not exciting then with these penalty shootouts, one with a point at stake? No.
Teams tended to play for them, didn't they?
Yeah, so the lower teams might park the bus a little bit against the bigger teams and try and get another additional point out of the game.
So you're saying that Selangor got 10 extra points?
So they win 10 of those penalty shootouts in that season.
Well, it seems a lot to me. So I'm going to say false. Steve?
I'm going true.
I know Geylang were involved in 8 penalty shootouts and lost 7 of them.
Wow.
So it's possible, Senkang. It's again though on the one there's a lot of research gone into that, and why would you do that? So false, but false based on a truism.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it is true.
Oh, it is true.
Wow.
Were you the goalie? Well, no, you went at Senkang then, were you?
Of course I was.
You were. Were you that?
So you were doing lots of saves basically.
Yeah, so I was the keeper for Sengkang then. So we basically drew 10 league games and we amassed 10 extra points to finish. I think the highest ever in the league, and we were 6th, I think.
Wow.
Penalty shootout's got to be the one time you want to be a keeper. You just can't lose. You can only be a hero, right?
That's right. It was fun.
Yeah.
And he was a wonderful shot stopper. Was young Amos, athletic.
Yeah.
Chap.
Well, he'd have to be. He's not very big, is he?
Still is.
Yeah, but still athletic and sprightly.
You still playing NFL?
No, of course not. The Football Association said anybody above the age of 40 is not allowed to play
in the NFL.
Yes, that's right.
Even in the NFL.
Correct.
You're kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
Why have they said that then?
I have no idea. I think maybe
they must have a reason for doing it. What's their reason?
Maybe they wanted to encourage younger players to play, but then at that there are a lot of experienced players who are around that age, your 30 or 40,
sure.
Which can still contribute to the game.
Big time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, my one. Oh yeah, so that's true. Well done. So Nick's got the points. We'll get to that in just a minute. I want to talk about An Jung Hwan. Do you remember him?
Yes, the Korean who scored against Italy.
Yes.
Very
famously scored against Italy because the following day
didn't
he
get
was sacked
Yeah.
by his team Perugia. Is that your true or false?
Yeah, is it true?
It is true.
It's true.
Or false? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't actually proven.
He got reinstated. He did get reinstated, I think, didn't he, or something?
He did, because there was such an outcry about it.
Yeah, so the next day, the Perugia owner, Luciano Gauci, cancelled his contract. He was quoted as saying, "I have no intention of paying a salary to someone who has ruined Italian football." But a little bit later, Gauci took back what he said. He attempted to take up the $1.2 million option to sign him. And Anne said, "No, I'm not going to no longer discuss my transfer to Perugia because they attacked my character." Jeez.
So that's point for us. That. Nick.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's your next one, Des?
Mine. Is it 3 that we had to prepare? Is it? Okay, 3. Okay. Thinking this one up on the hoof. Oh gosh.
Well, we come back to you then. Let's go
to
Steve McPaint.
Stevie Archibald. It's another good Scottish one. So as you know, Aberdeen, Spurs, and Barcelona legend. But anyway, he moved from Spurs to Barcelona in 1984. Went on to win La Liga with Barcelona. But Barcelona, with the scouting at the time, had basically agreed a fee with Spurs. Took him down to Barcelona to sign all the forms, and then they started talking to Archibald. And the manager of Barcelona said, "Well, hang on a minute." He said, "You speak a bit funny, He said, it's a Glaswegian accent. On finding out he was Scottish, Barcelona actually tried to pull the plug on the transfer. They thought he was an inferior player. Thought he was English.
Absolute
poppycock. Because they've had Welshmen there.
They had Hughes and Archibald. They had Lineker and Archibald.
Yeah.
And he was playing for Tottenham. He'd won trophies with Aberdeen. He was a full international.
Yeah.
Can't believe it, because the Venables was in the area then as well.
Yeah.
No. Surely not.
Yeah, not having that at all. Amos?
Yep, false for me.
Yeah, nonsense.
All my ones are always rubbish.
This nonsense.
He did actually, he got the reason he got turfed out of Barcelona was the 3 foreigner rule, and it was Hughes and Lineker the next season, and he got knocked down a pecking order. Very well respected, the new camp though, still, Archibald.
Yeah, nice. Amos Boon.
Okay, a very simple one. Alexander Djuric. He retired at the age of 43 when the S-League, supposedly the oldest player to ever to retire. But there is actually another player, and his name is David Lee. So he retired at the age of 44. But obviously no one really knew that. So
David Lee is the oldest player.
Yes,
in
David Lee is
he?
one of the icons of Singapore football.
Sure. Yeah.
And he actually retired at the age of 44. He made a comeback after retired, but yeah, he continued in the S-League till he was 44.
Did he get a game though? Was he just warming the bench?
No, of course he had a game.
What
Okay.
year did he retire?
95, 96, something like that? Or did he play later?
David, well, that's another question. Not exactly sure when he retired, which year.
Would have been the first 2 or 3 years, wouldn't he? Because he wasn't here in 2000.
Yeah, probably about before 2000.
Well, I reckon if it was true, you'd know which year he retired in, so I'm going false.
Yeah, I think false.
Yeah, I think Alex has got it. I'm gonna well, no, it'd just be different. I'm going to say it's true because I need some points.
Well, Andy, you've got no points. David retired at the age of 42.
Okay. Scores, Nick?
Well, Des is leading the pack with 6 points. Steve's on 5. Amos is on 5. You are on 2.
Okay, I'm next up. Paul Jewell walked out of West Brom after only a week in the job, after being asked to accept a pay cut at West Brom earlier this year. They wanted to cover the salary of another new coach, Jerry Francis. Did Tony Pulis?
Say again?
Paul Jewell. He walked out of West Bromwich Albion after only a week in the job, after he was asked to accept a pay cut that in turn would cover the salary of another new coach, Jerry Francis.
False.
I don't know why you'd make that up, but I think it's false as well.
There's possibly a truism in it. We walked out, but no. But so Paul Jewell, Jerry Francis, different eras. False.
That is a cut and paste from if you
Wikipedia.
search. Yeah.
So therefore, it's false.
No, it's
you
not.
cannot use Wikipedia as your.
Actually, that's from Daily Mail. So yeah, it's true. So I get 3 points. Okay, last. It's quite a long segment. This all of a sudden, isn't it?
Chelsea gone close.
Okay.
Sam Allardyce's managerial teeth were cut in the League of Ireland in Limerick.
I've seen Limerick play actually back in 1983.
Have you got a poem about it?
Nope.
So Sam Allardyce's first managerial opportunity was in the League of Ireland.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that's true. Stephen McBain?
False.
Just stop playing with that there, Des.
I've broken it, sorry.
Sorry.
False for me.
It is indeed true.
Wow.
It is indeed true. Penders is coming up on the rail. He was alongside a managerial colleague called Paul Macefield.
Was he really?
Oh, he was indeed.
Was he really?
He was indeed.
The Paul we know.
The Paul we know.
The former Birmingham legend, Paul Macefield.
The former Exeter legend. Yep.
Steve McBain.
The O'Connor family from Nebraska is currently involved in trying to sue the A-League in Australia for basically some sort of misrepresentation or false representation after they took a flight from Cairns to Newcastle last year to watch the Newcastle Jets. Being American, they thought they were going to watch the New York Jets, who were playing a franchise game abroad and are now attempting to sue the A-League to recover their costs. The O'Connors from Nebraska.
After 2 falses, I think this should be a true story.
This is the most ridiculous story, though.
I know, but I think it's true.
I've read his articles. I think I'm beginning to know how his brain operates. So I think this is true as well.
Oh, no, false, nonsense.
Yeah, I was just watching the A-League this afternoon, so.
Amos Boon.
Very good.
All right, back on the local front. In 1998, S.league club Tanjung Pagar United posted their best season, having won the cup double, and coming in second in the league, losing out on goal difference And in that team, they had two exceptional players. One was a 1.97 meter giant called Nicodem Boucher, and a one-arm midfielder called Håkan Sodersjana. Is that true or not?
Is what true?
Whether Tanjong Pagar ended their season in the S-League the highest ever, the best season ever with a cup double, as well as coming in runners-up in the league based on goal difference. Des should know this one.
I should know this one. I can't remember their league position. I know they won didn't they win a cup? Or was it Jurong who won that cup? Tanjong Pagar. Is this?
I'm going whatever Des says.
This was back in 1998.
This was 98, wasn't it? This is just before football was invented, or I came over to Singapore. Same. Sounds like that. Oh.
Des was already with Geylang then.
No, not 98. No.
What were you doing with Geylang?
I was helping Scotty O'Donnell.
Oh, what? Doing some goalkeeping coaching?
Coaching, and that was a team. And going on this, the Young Lions. That was a team that was ripped apart by the Young Lions because all the best players, Bahaki, Hassan, were taken away. Jamal Ali, taken away from Geylang where they'd been found and nurtured and were playing with good players and had to go and join the Young Lions. So I was never a big fan of the Young Lions, but that's a completely different story. Tanjong Pagar, it was their best season. Yes, they had the big striker. Yes, did they come second?
There's a lot of the yeses there for me, so I'm saying true.
Yes,
Des says true. Steve doesn't care, does he? He's watching Chelsea.
I'll go true.
Well, the answer is it is true. They were the double cup champions, and they did lose out on the league just by a mere goal difference to the SAF, Warriors.
Yeah. Wow. Who was in that Warriors side then?
Was Conde there?
It was they had the foreigners, the Czech foreigners, which were sensational in midfielder. And they were a really good side then. I think Riza Hassan was in goal, and they were really good national players with that team as well. I mean, Tanjong Pagar was full of talented players as well. I mean, you had the likes of Lim Chong Hai, Stephen Tan, Samar Basri, Lee Man Horn, and they were very, very formidable side as well. And the coach was Robert Alberts.
It was. He was still around. There was talk he was going to get Sab a job, but I think he hasn't taken it. Poison Chalice.
Right, Andy.
What are you doing pulling your eyebrows for?
My eyebrows. When I get something right, it's very rare. As you can see, I've got long eyebrows.
For the last one, it's true or false. I don't care what the scores are, Nick, so I know I'm not winning. I was instrumental in getting... Remember Stuart Ripley? Mm-hmm. Blackburn winger, England winger? I was instrumental in getting his move from Blackburn to Southampton.
Tough one.
He moved for like £250,000. I was instrumental.
You were at TalkSport, were you? Did you do TalkSport?
I was at Team Talk.
Team Talk. So yeah, you probably put the word out that he was available, or that he
but
was
then he's going to claim
player.
that. It's got to be on Wikipedia. It has to be.
That I was instrumental. I haven't even got a Wikipedia page, mate.
You don't?
No. It's a travesty.
Des has one.
Have you got one, Des?
No. I keep meaning to do one, but
you can't do your own.
There's nothing.
It says you can't do your own.
Oh, can you?
No.
I keep meaning to hire somebody to do it for me. Then
I'll do yours.
Okay.
You do mine.
That's
mine won't be as long as yours.
You're a stalker. You would do that.
I'll do that for you.
Yeah, I reckon your Team Talk connections were instrumental in that.
Okay. Steve?
True.
Amos?
You're my friend, so I'll say yes.
Yeah, so I've heard that he's up on the transfer list, Stuart Ripley, right? And he was still a good player at that time.
A decent player.
Yeah. Well, not for us. He was all gone.
Yeah, but Blackburn, because of Wilcox on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good team.
Phoned up Dave Jones. I said, look, he's just been put on the transfer list. Boom! Inside the week, it was done. So there you go. What's the scores on the doors, Nick?
Hang on, I thought you didn't care.
We care.
Well, Des, you got 9 points, just pipped to it by Steve. He's got 10.
Hey.
Amos, you finished with 6, and Andy, you did a Leicester there. You finished with 8 points.
Hey,
well so you're not bottom.
Not bad. Lots happening in Spanish football yesterday. The Saturday game, seeing Barcelona beat Real Sociedad by 4-0. Luis Suarez, Neymar, Messi.
That technique from Suarez again. Did you see the volley yesterday?
Haven't seen
the technique, the way he just gets over the ball and just keeps it down. It's just I mean, it's just the football he's playing is just blinding.
Wonderful,
Really, really.
wonderful player.
Antonio Cordinats joins us. Hi, Antonio.
You?
Everything okay?
Everything okay? Having a pretty relaxed end of the weekend. I went for a long ride this morning with the boys, so yeah, trying to chill out a bit.
Big Espanyol fan, so you wouldn't have been happy with Antoine Griezmann on the score sheet again?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, I watched the highlights and I read a couple of reports on the Spanish media. It seems we didn't have a good day. Unfortunately, Calderón is not definitely, I would say, in a stadium where we normally perform really, really well. And I believe Atletico de Madrid, they have become extremely experts on taking lots of profits for just, single goals. And that's what they did. They just scored at the beginning of the game and then, they took it all the way to the 90th minute.
You should stay up this season, though. I say you. Espanyol should stay up, right?
Well, I mean, for me, as I mentioned a couple of times in the show, and of course, thanks again for giving me this call, it will all depend on if Sergio González, our manager, is able to keep consistency, especially at home, and then try to grab a few points in away games. Because I mean, we need to just go step by step, and if we are able to just hit those 42 points as soon as possible, then is when Espanyol definitely could start performing better, and maybe if we have time and enough points to aim for some European spots. But at this stage, I think no other objective than to grab those 42 points to secure the La Liga First Division.
Barcelona winning 4-0. Can anybody stop them now that Messi is back?
Good question. I mean, with all the rumors going on with City and Messi and Pep Guardiola next year, I start to think, how much. Of course, Barcelona needs Messi, but how much with Neymar at this level, and especially also Suarez at this level, how much Barcelona really need Messi to keep this level of performance. And not only these three, I think, perhaps I believe that the most, let me say that perhaps where the biggest challenge for Barcelona as per now is that they seem to be in their top form perhaps too early in the season. I remember last year, by this time, around November, early December, where Real Madrid was playing the Club World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. They were playing fantastic, and then they kind of collapsed towards the end of the season. So is it too soon to be performing at this stage? To be honest, I don't think so. But the more I speak with my Barcelona friends, they say that they are a little bit concerned because they are, as you mentioned, unstoppable, and not only the three up front. I mean, we're talking about Busquets being, as per today, definitely the best midfielder or defensive midfielder in Europe. Iniesta is in top form. Even Piqué, who started the season quite irregular, and he got those 4 matches ban. Once he's back, it seems like the whole defensive line of Barcelona, goes into play. So it's a really good mixture, and I think also Luis Enrique overall is doing a very good job.
Elsewhere, Las Palmas losing at home to Deportivo La Coruña.
Watch out for Deportivo. They are, if I'm not mistaken, after
they're fifth now, breathing down the necks of the top 4.
Yeah. I mean, nobody. I mean, they avoid relegation last year, just at the last minute when they brought in this Victor, who was a Real Madrid former player, and it seems he's doing the right thing. He brought up a good squad together, and watch out. You never know. Every year you have some sort of a team that breaks down and keeps getting points, and it seems that this year might be Deportivo. I also like Celta because I think El Toto Berizzo, the Argentina manager, has a good ideas of football, and they've been doing well. Villarreal is another team to keep an eye on it, but what else? Las Palmas definitely. They just came back to the first division. They're going to struggle together with the Sporting and Getafe. There is a whole bunch of, I would say, between maybe 8 to 10 teams that it's going to be difficult for them to avoid that hot area at the bottom of the table.
Just stay with us, Antonio. I just want to get an update from Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. Tom McGarry is watching this game for us at White Hart Lane.
Still Spurs 0, Chelsea 0 at White Hart Lane, but chances are beginning to come for both sides. Since I was last with you, Pedro had a good opportunity on the edge of the box, fired one towards the top corner, just took a slight flick off Eric Dyer on its way through, and it went over the top of the bar for a corner. Then at the other end, the best chance that Tottenham have created so far. Harry Kane popped up on the right wing, was given time to look up, fire across in towards Son on the back post. His header was parried by Asmir Begovic. Another shot comes in from Dembele, parried away by the Chelsea keeper as well, behind for a corner, and it's still Spurs 0, Chelsea 0.
Thanks very much, Tom. It's the Andy Penders Show. We've got Dez Corkhill, Stephen McBain, Amos Boon in the house on the phone. Antonio Codinach just reviewing what happened in the Spanish La Liga yesterday. Hey, Celta are doing really well, aren't they?
They are really fantastic. I mean, as I said before, I like El Toto Berizzo, a former player. He knows what's going on. He has experience. He has been given the confidence to, keep a couple of 2-3 years already at Celta. He has been able to, get back some of the key players, and of course,
talking of key players, do you think Nolito will go to Barcelona?
Nolito definitely, but look at the top form of Iago Aspas, who after his England experience and then Sevilla as well. I mean, this guy needed to be at home, and he was born in Vigo, which is Celta plays at, and these sort of players. Sometimes I always keep asking myself, is it really worth it to go for that overseas experience, in this case at Liverpool? And then he was, looking for an opportunity at Sevilla. He did not end up in good terms with the Sevilla manager and Unai Emery. And then back at Celta, he's performing at top level. And, as we always mention, right, there are certain players that they might remain at certain teams. You cannot go one step forward because they might not be able to perform. And, might be the case of Aspas. Nolito definitely, I think, is going to be one of the 23 players that Del Bosque should call for the Euro Cup in this coming summer in France. And, he has that special energy, special electricity that most of, teams needed. I mean, it was a big rumor last summer for a transfer to go to Barcelona, but I don't think it will happen in the winter window.
Some big games tonight. Sevilla against Valencia, Eibar against Real Madrid, Villarreal against Getafe. Hey, Sevilla against Valencia should be a cracker.
It should be a good game. Actually, both teams not doing fantastic. I mean, I think Nuno has serious issues at Valencia, and Nuno is a Peter Lim man put there by Mendes. But Valencia fans, I would say, definitely one of the most demanding fans community in Spain, and if he's not really to perform to the level that is expected, he might not be ending the season. Of course, last call is always on I would say Peter Lim / Mendes, but it's going to be tough. And definitely the one that for me is a little bit of a surprise, because I was expecting much more this year, is Sevilla. Because Unai Emery, year after year, he needs to really put a squad together, because Sevilla is a selling club, so they need to sell whatever stars they develop. But with this year Champions League, it's not the first time that a Spanish team, after reaching Champions League, then next season, really struggle to keep top level of performance, and that's what's happening. So let's see, should be okay. Both managers, and under the putting lots of pressure. And let's see. Eibar Real Madrid is an interesting game, because the stadium at Eibar is definitely one of the smallest, and where spectators being really on top of the players. And Real Madrid, they are not at the fantastic form right now, and after especially that, I would say, a special game they went through in Ukraine midweek in the Champions League. So of course Benitez must go through some adjustments in order to put things in place.
Just finally, Villarreal against Getafe. Villarreal could go fourth if they win. It's getting quite competitive in La Liga. Got Celta, Villarreal, even Eibar reaching out for this.
Isn't it nice to see all the teams and Barcelona, Real Madrid, right, to top of the table? But of course, we have Atletico Madrid, which I think they are going back to a couple of years ago form, and I'm not sure if they're gonna fight for the title. But as I say, nice. Celta, Deportivo, Villarreal. Who else is gonna be there this year? That's gonna be maybe fighting for a third spot on Champions League if Valencia and Sevilla are not going to cover those slots. So definitely, very happy to see all the teams. So people in this part of the world are aware of, what is this Celta going on? Who are Villarreal and Deportivo and so on? And it's very nice, very interesting.
I heard on the street, little mouse told me that Valencia might be coming here next year.
Well, I mean, I guess everybody is expecting that, right? With Peter Lim being behind, perhaps they should have already done it. But it will be a good opportunity to catch some fans. Not that I see many more Valencia jerseys in Singapore or in the region, but I guess they are a little bit more aware of who Valencia is and where Peter Lim has put his money.
Yeah. Thanks, Antonio. Good to talk to you.
My pleasure, and say hi to everybody in the studio. Congratulations for today's show. Fantastic lineup and great topics as always.
Yeah, thanks, Antonio. I'm sure the boys
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff.
We're with football commentator Dez Corkhill from what club would you like me to say, Amos? What was your best time?
I was with Hwee United.
From Hwee United goalkeeper Amos Boon in the house and football blogger Steve McBain is here. I said football commentator Dez. For anybody who wants to get in the business, what do they do?
Get lucky, work hard, be passionate, put yourself out there, and be as accurate as you possibly can. Always sell the game. It's never about you. It's always about the players, and it's always about the fans. And if you can try and do something to make the experience a little bit better, it's not quite as good as playing, but it's the next best thing.
Are you doing courses now?
I'm doing some internal training with Astro.
Okay.
Not so much for commentary, because my main thing is I'm a sports producer.
Right.
And the commentary is a passion.
Okay. You don't want to train up people too good, because they might just take your job.
Well, I've done it in a couple of sports already, sadly, so it's not good for career opportunities.
Okay, but John Wilkinson's just embarking on his commentary career.
Yes.
And he was doing work for Vox Sports recently, did the RHB.
And I've listened to him, and he's doing fine. John knows details. That's a great thing. What you're always trying to do is tell people not what's on the screen, because they can see what's on the screen, but the things that are around the screen. And that's why having ex-pros as players, ex-pros as analysts is great, because they tell you what's going on in the dressing room, about the niggles, about John's great on the medical side of things, how people run. Steve Darby once said there's going to be a goal in a couple of minutes, and sure enough there was a goal a couple of minutes later, and said, why? He said, well, look at the centre back, look how he's running. He tweaked his left knee about 4 minutes ago. And just the attention to detail that just came through, and it wasn't lucky, because the boy went off later. The attention to detail was fabulous.
And John said that he was struggling a little bit, because obviously, I mean, I've done a few commentaries, and no one tells you how to do it, do they? You have to learn and find your own space. And
there is a technique.
What advice? Oh, okay, yeah, go on. I know you gave him some advice on when to take breathers.
There is a technique. Go on. Yeah. Well, you're telling a story, and the story is going out. The difference is you don't know how the story is going to end. So you're telling a tale, and so you're trying to fill in the colours and give people a perspective of what's going on, but always make it exciting. Alan Green, for example, I listen to the BBC commentators and Peter Jones, love them to bits. Alan Green does my head in, because he criticises. He's never been out there. He's never played. He's never done anything, and he will say, "Oh, that's dreadful from Dennis Bergkamp," or "That's what? Who are you to say that?" Anyway.
What's been your best ever bit of commentary? You know, the bit where you go to sleep at night thinking, yeah, that was...
Nah, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, come on.
No. You get very excited by every game. I love the cup final that Sharrell was in on Friday. I enjoyed that very much, even though his team lost, but a great comeback by Albrechts. Last night was very emotional. You thought the Lions 12 would be...
So how did you tell that story then?
Well, you try and set it up. Is it Mission Impossible? Can they do it? What's the chance of doing it?
And you got off to a great start.
Then they score the first one and go, do you believe? They score the second. Is it good enough? And then you bring a reality check in, because you look at PAHANG and say, hey, this job isn't done. This PAHANG team can win. So you're always just trying to build up the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Do you have a colour commentator with you?
Having a colour commentator is much better, because they tell me things.
Sure, no, but who did you have last night?
Last night Shebby Singh.
Oh gosh, Shebs was in town, was he?
Yeah.
How's Shebby?
Sheb's great.
What's he doing now?
He's doing a lot more media work at the moment because he helped out at Johor in how they are growing. He helped out at Blackburn, of course, beforehand. Didn't help out. He got well paid to help out at Blackburn and at Johor. But so he made his contributions there, and now he's back doing more media work.
Great. That's what he's doing work for Fox, is he?
He's doing some work for. I think he's on Fox tonight. He
For
was with us
Bundesliga?
last night. Yes, Premier League actually.
Oh, is it?
Because Fox still do some Premier League
In Malaysia, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chevy Singh.
Yeah, he was good. It's a real privilege to work with some of these guys. I worked with Juric, Shebby, PJ is always good fun. It's great fun. And somebody pays you for it. Fabulous.
It's crazy, right? Are you doing a lot of pundit work there, Amos?
No, this is my first job. Thanks, Andy.
We had you on Football Crazy for a while.
Yes. We were on that crazy show.
Yeah.
It was fun.
We got you dressed up.
I heard. Yes, you did. Don't remind me.
No, I won't. You heard what? What did you hear?
No, I heard that there were lots of there's a huge demand for Football Crazy to come back.
I heard this.
Yeah,
I've heard this on the grapevine.
It's on the grapevine. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big demand for somebody to do a local sports show, local football show with respect, treating it with, analysing how the players are doing, analysing what they're doing, not just saying you're crap. And that Football Crazy did that in a jocular kind of way. The top corner, remember the top corner?
Yeah.
That did that.
But so we've tried, it just doesn't work.
It does work. It rated its nuts off.
Good for it. Really?
Really.
So what are they doing now then? What sort of coverage are you guys putting together now then? Is it not good enough?
I don't have the business answer. I really don't.
Okay.
I've spent 15 years trying to work out the business answer. And every statistic you look at says X number of people watch. It's not sexy. It's not perceived as sexy by decision makers. And it is sexy. And millions of people watch it.
Are you going to miss the Lions 12 in Malaysia next year?
Yes,
yeah?
Very much so. Very interesting chat before. Yes, we're going to miss them very much so.
Hey, we haven't even spoken about what's going to happen in the Malaysia Cup next up.
Well, the games are on Wednesday.
Right.
Selangor versus Pahang will be fun. Selangor very classy yesterday because they gave a guard of honour to Lions 12 at the end of the game. And then Felder upset Johor Darul Taksim. They beat them 2-1. You should see Zahrahan's goal. Go onto YouTube, look at Zahrahan's winning goal. Magnificent. Any league, anywhere in the world. Fabulous. In Johor, in front of 25,000 people. Ball comes out to him 10 minutes from time. It's a little chip over the top. George Best against Tottenham. Remember that one of 1972? Just, orgasmic.
Was the sending off in that game?
I'm too worked up about the
right next, it got a bit feisty. I think it really got.
It would do, but Felder have got good players. Shukaraha, it's a good league.
What did I watch on Facebook earlier when? Was it Keller scored a goal and was celebrating in their half, and then the other team kicked off? And
Yes.
When was that?
That was last night.
That was last night.
That was last night.
No wonder they're going mental.
But they won. Keller won. So Keller beat PK.
But if they were celebrating just in the other opponent's half, the goal wouldn't have. They couldn't have kicked off, right? Because they're all celebrating. I can't stop it, can I?
Exactly. Everyone was back.
Oh my God, so that's why it kicked off.
Sounds very schoolboyish.
Yeah. What can the ref do though? Can't say if you finish celebrating.
Well, he can decide not to blow his whistle.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
But yes, so Kedah are through. Kedah versus Felder in the other semi-final. Selangor versus Pahang. Brilliant.
Yeah. Fandi Ahmad last night saying that several of the players and himself have been given some tasty offers from teams in Malaysia. Would you advise them to take up that?
Depends which team. There's some big clubs up there paying good money, but there's some you're not quite sure about the future. Ooh, that's close for Chelsea. Not quite sure about the future. But Malaysian football is in a position to really kick on. It is in a position. A lot depends on the attitude of people wanting it to kick on. But you need people like Sassy in there to actually kick a few backsides and say this is how it's going to be. But it's in a
new TV deal there.
There is, but nobody knows where it's going to be televised. Nobody knows which channel. Nobody knows who's doing the production.
Well, it'll be Astro, won't it?
Nope.
That's all a bit political, is it?
Again, I'm in the commentary business. I'm not on the business side.
Just thought ask. JDT winning AFC Cup.
Yes, doing it really well. The fact that Felder then beat them is really good, I think, for Malaysian football, because it shows it's not a one-team league.
Okay, and are they bothered about sorting out their national team or not?
You've got to get the basics right. You've got to get the league right first. A good league will beget a good national team. Yes, they're very bothered, but the good league is most important.
Okay.
3,000 turn up to the national team. 100,000 when they're winning, 3,000 when they're losing. So it's get the basics right.
It's the Andy Penders Show on Red Card Sports Radio. Welcome. We've only got 12 minutes left of the show. Still Tottenham 0, Chelsea 0.
Half time.
It's half time, is it? Give us your thoughts on that first half, please, Steve.
I'm only sort of half an eye on it, but from what I was watching, that's probably, I think, Chelsea's best 45 minutes this season. They've looked much brighter. There seems to be some energy. Spurs have had some chances, but what's interesting is Spurs are really putting themselves around. They've had 3 bookings. Kane was in there with an elbow and stuff, and it's interesting to see people getting physical with Chelsea. I think people fancy playing Chelsea now, but yeah, decent first half for Chelsea, I think. But I'll be happy if it finishes 0-0.
Begovic has made a couple of great saves, huh?
Yeah. There was a Dembele had one shot from distance which came through. I think went through Oscar's legs. Looked good, but Ivanovic had a good chance there from a Willian free kick. But decent game of football, I think.
Let's get Spurs' take on it, Amos.
Well, Spurs. I think Spurs had a few decent chances. Keeper saved well. I think Son should have done better with their header. But overall, I think Spurs are a little bit more aggressive, and I think they look like they really want this 3 points.
Interesting article on redcardsportsradio.com during the week saying that the 6-second rule should be abolished. This coming after Simon Mignolet was called out for it against Bordeaux then scoring. Nicholas Lim wrote that article. Nicholas, what was your thinking of scrapping the 6-second rule?
Oh, well, it depends on what the point of having the 6-second rule is. If it's to prevent time wasting, which is what I assume it is for, then why isn't it used more often? Why isn't it not enforced more often? Because it isn't. You've seen goalkeepers holding the ball for more than 6 seconds. You know, maybe they're trying to release the ball or something. The referee's is at the referee's discretion to decide whether to blow it
and
out.
You're saying that basically he's not using it, so what's the point of it being there?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Amos, you're a goalkeeper. You used to hog that ball a bit longer than you should have done.
Only for 6 seconds. But you're right, Nick. If you see the game these days, most of the keepers actually hold on to the ball way longer than 6 seconds, and the referees most of the time do not reprimand them.
Which is crazy, right? I tell you what I used to do. I mean, I was playing sort of, A league level, not A league, sorry. Good standard in Australia. Centre midfield. I jog as you're jogging back, and the keeper's great. I count out loud. Yeah. I was going 1, 2, 3. You got the message in the end.
Well, it still surprises me why some of these referees don't really actually count physically.
Right. Yeah.
They don't.
Or in the stadium have a clock. They do in basketball.
But it's to stop time wasting. So whether it's 6 or 7 seconds or 8 seconds, there's no matter. But if you're getting up to 22 seconds, that's just stupid.
Yeah, in all fairness, Simon Mignolet deserved that, right? But,
Indeed.
But why isn't this rule, if there is going to be a 6-second rule, 10-second rule, whatever you want, why is it not put in place for goal kicks? Because that's exactly where goalkeepers waste the most amount of time, slowly trudging back to take that goal kick, taking their own sweet time. You know, I don't know if you've seen this video. I can't remember which league it was. I'm not sure if it was Brazil. This goalkeeper, trying to run down the clock, took the ball. It was goal kick. He put the ball down, undid his shoelaces, undid the laces on his boots, took a few steps back, pretending he was going to take the goal kick, and then gesturing, saying that, well, because now he's wearing gloves, he can't tie his shoelaces. He needed somebody to come and tie his shoelaces for him.
I've not tried that one.
The whole time wasting thing is something that really gets my goat. It really does. It's the one thing that and the diving, things that are genuinely cheating. So I tend to agree with you. But it's up to the referee. If the referee thinks there's time wasting going on, book players.
Well, but sometimes, as a keeper, and if you're playing, you just need to break the tempo sometimes. if you're being attacked on, and basically your team needs to actually get some time to recuperate, I'll do that. I'll try and slow down the game a little bit, take a bit of time, and if, for example, if it's at the tail end of the game, I might even try and delay as much as I can, even if I got a yellow card for it.
Yeah, of course you would. Well, it's just gamesmanship.
But the course you would is the thing that really does me, and it does at the top level, because we're watching Tottenham, and it's $1 billion business now. It's an entertainment. You're not just players, you're entertainers. In Malaysia, it's a 1.26 billion ringgit deal. You're entertainers. It's not just about you anymore. I know it is about you, and you want to stay in the industry, but you're entertaining people. And if people are talking about the bad things rather than the great things, you're not entertaining.
Well, I think if you're looking at the top flight of these leagues, and players are earning that much, of wages, comparing that to the Asian football leagues, and maybe even Singapore in that context, these players, they actually do earn a fair bit on the bonus side if they do actually win games. So that could be another factor as well.
Okay, it could be. I'm just looking at the spectating side of things as ever, and anything that is negative is a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. The number of players, particularly in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, goalkeepers in particular, going down injured. I know they're not injured. Everyone knows they're not injured. It slows the game down, and all the pros, and I have great debates with the pros alongside me saying, "Isn't that cheating?" They go, "No, it's got to be done. It's natural." And I go, "Well, it's cheating, isn't it?"
I felt really, really bad and guilty yesterday, because when Gomez went down and started waving his arms in the air for the whole thing, I was like, play acting, and then the guy's got oxygen and got off on the stretch, and I was like, I feel so bad.
That's terrible, Amos, wasn't it? The 10 minutes he was down for.
Yeah.
He's all right, though. I mean, he's tweeted. But he's okay.
Yeah, I saw that. It's not the first time
so everyone's okay if they tweet.
But the point is that, people have been crying wolf so long that you're bound to. So if somebody goes down, it should be a genuine injury, because otherwise it's cheating.
Yeah, I feel that a lot of these players these days go down too easy, and they actually lay down that long. You don't really know if it's really bad or not.
Correct.
When you were training, right? Answer me honestly. All right. Were your outfield players ever taught how to dive?
Obviously not, no.
What do you mean, obviously not? Have you ever tried to dive and make
a goalkeeper, I hope you were taught
that. But have you ever tried to do it?
It's actually an art,
It's
so
so hard.
easy to dive. It's not
I've
easy
tried.
to
I remember
dive.
when diving became fashionable, sort of Jurgen Klinsmann, that sort of era. I remember being at school and trying to win a penalty. I'd look ridiculous. I dived because it was the in thing to do. Look ridiculous. You can't just do it. It's really.
But it's also cultural as well. Because in Spain, the fact that they call it simulation, it is actually seen as a skill.
Yes,
it's seen as a way of gaining an advantage. Whereas in the UK, it's okay to nearly break someone's leg with a tackle. That's okay. But diving, oh no, heaven forbid. So it's horses for courses a bit, depending where you are.
I don't mind the dive. I think simulation's fine. That's a skill, absolute skill.
It's cheating.
No, it's not. Simulation.
It's cheating. It's trying to get an outcome that is untrue.
So what about, like, I'd say, a goalkeeper saying it didn't cross the line when he knows it did? Would you apply the same to that, or?
9 times out of 10, the referees will get it wrong anyway, or the assistant referees will call it out. But
it's still perception, right? It's
if you know. I mean, it's kind of personal moral values now. If you know something's
I'm
out.
thinking Roy Carroll against Spurs. Back 3 feet in the net, right? I mean, comes out and.
He didn't say it didn't cross the line, did he? I don't know. I'm trying to think. He batted it out. And
he certainly played on as if everything was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that clubs don't teach players how to do it. But I bet they teach them. You see strikers holding on to the shirt of the defender just to bring them down when they. Graziano Pella does it so well.
Schweinsteiger's goal yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the wrestling match? I mean, the Leicester guy double bluffed himself because he ended up turning around away from the ball because he was holding Schweinsteiger like this. I mean, the strength of the bloke to actually get the header in, but it was just ridiculous. I mean, how that wasn't a penalty? I've no idea.
They got a wrong player to mark him as well.
Okazaki.
Yeah, he's not the right player to.
Schweinsteiger's a big unit, right?
He is. But it's still a lousy goal to concede. Like straight from a corner. If you're any goal straight from a corner is a bad goal.
Yeah, can't agree more. So half time between Tottenham and Chelsea. We're just running down the show now. Nick, everything okay in there? We'll be back. I think we'll end it there, guys. I think because we can watch the second half, everything will be good. We've got 2 minutes to go. Des, thanks for coming in.
An absolute pleasure.
When are you next back in Singapore?
I'm doing a little bit of the ASEAN Para Games, so I've got the opening ceremony on Thursday night.
There's some awesome events on there, right? So I met with the goalball team.
Okay.
Goalball.
Yes.
That's what it's called, right?
Correct.
I'm going to try that out. That'd be awesome.
You've seen these soundball guys as
well?
Yeah.
Well, that's
is that.
Yeah,
it's
heavy.
It's not one of the events
right.
in these games. The soundball. That's for the deaf.
You got the cerebral palsy football team. We had the coaches in here. Beautiful people.
Good athletes. Athletes with a disability. Not the athletes all the same.
Chess is in there.
Boccia.
No, chess is definitely chess is in there. Just to let you know.
15 sports. Opening ceremony on Thursday at the indoor arena. Then we've got 2 weeks of activities.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's interesting. I've been a spectator at Paralympics. I've not had the honour of doing an opening ceremony, and very, very privileged.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Steve McBain, thanks for coming on, Steve.
No worries at all.
I hope second half goes well for Chelsea. And Amos Boon, lovely to see you.
Great to be here.
Yeah, come on again soon. During the week, we've got so much on redcardsportsradio.com. We're also, if you're interested in doing an S-League show, write in. I think we've got enough fans to come along and do it. So let's do it, right, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last 2 weeks we've been just going on about local football, and the amount of interest it's generated has been amazing.
Okay, let's get someone who actually is a bit more passionate than me about S-League to host it, and we're done. Sorry, everyone's nodding their head. Yeah, do check out redcardsportsradio.com. Plenty going on throughout the week. Thanks for tuning in today. Hi, Mum. See you next week. Bye-bye.
It's a red card. And he should get 2 red cards. That's got the red card.
Red Card Sports Radio, the best sports station in Asia.
These are your